The year is 2013. 12 American women were deceived for the sake of reality television. For 2 months, they were subjected to manipulative tactics by two production companies. The end product of producers gaslighting its contestants showed us true crime can take on various forms. This is the story of I Wanna Marry Harry. At least you gotta give it to them, all the budgeting went into that intro, detective unit. I have gathered us here for a different type of video. If any of you are coming onto this channel for the first time, I don't usually cover reality TV because I don't usually watch it. I have wanted to, yes, partially, part of this story is I have wanted to do what I do with true crime cases, actual true crime cases and missing persons cases, and compile all of the information I could find online into one deep dive for us to try to understand why. Why did this story happen? Why did the production companies and the actual producers never stop themselves prior to committing the crimes that we are going to be talking about in this video? Just like actual criminals, actual real-life criminals, there have been crimes that have been committed here that could have been prevented. And then why in the aftermath they're so very proud of this show. There was no reflection, no accountability, nothing. They just proceeded being super fucking proud of having produced this. How we got here. Let us just speak about how we got here as you're sitting, making a cup of coffee, trying to see why this social experiment happened and posing that question to yourself on and on again as you're watching this video. Alright, cool. That is, yes, my main purpose here. I have a list of prospective cases, actual true crime cases, right? And that as I was going through that list, trying to find a lighter case in order for me to take a break from the actual true crime ones, because the last one that I have covered on a plane crash had affected me. I needed some sort of break, and I was going through that list thinking, well, there is no actual true crime case, Maya, that is light in any fucking way. Is there? Because they're either missing persons or actual murders. No, nothing light there. Nothing fucking light on that list. So I was scrolling through it, right? And this list I take from your comments, from newsletters, from actual news, from the videos that I watch. So I'm scrolling through it. There's a sub-list at the end of this. I was like, oh, that's silly Billy. There's a sub-list with two names. One was I Wanna Marry Harry, and I knew that was a reality show. The second one, based off of the name, I didn't even know what it was, which tells you a lot about me. It was, yes, another reality show that I thought was criminal when I watched the trailer for it, and that I found out about based off of I Wanna Marry Harry and some commentary on some YouTube channel that I have watched years ago. Cool. I don't know why I put this sub-list, but hey, here we are. I have seen the name. Then I have started playing the show, and then obviously after having already spent like 40 minutes for episode 1, I was like, well, fuck it. I might as well read up everything online, try to figure out myself why this had happened, and here we are. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's going to be bloody long, because I have just translated what I do with true crime to this criminal fucking offense. So, let us discuss a bit about what was going on through my head as I have watched episode 1 and actually decided oh, now let me start writing up a script. I have thought of this video, I think it was on TikTok, but it's probably produced somewhere as well, because it's by that woman with weird sense of humor, Philomena Kunk or something, who talks about history and interviews actual historians. It's just her sense of humor is very, not funny, let's just call it that, it's very British. Anyways, she interviews this actual historian, and she asks this, I think it was the woman, asks her about World War I and why it was named that. And the woman is like, well, it wasn't named that to begin with, was it? Because we weren't expecting the second one to come around. That would have been a bit morbid, manifesting a whole actual world war. So we only named them once the second one had happened, like the first and then the second.
What did they call World War I, World War I? It's quite pessimistic numbering, isn't it? Or did they just know it was the start of a franchise?
At the time, they weren't numbering the wars, although I think that in the First World War, the idea of it being a great war, denoting the sheer scale of the conflict, the casualty rate, was already becoming used quite a lot.
So it was called the Great War, but not because it was great.
And truly, when going into this reality show, I can tell you, they did not think of a replay value. They did not think of seasonality. Nobody had a forethought of, hey, it's a reality TV, right? Maybe we should think, is there a chance for a second season? No. That just did not happen in anybody's mind. It was just nothing had happened in anybody's mind. There was just nothing to be replayed. It was cancelled after 4 episodes, as we're gonna talk about, and nobody had ever invested any thought into how can this make it to season 2 on any television, any channel, anywhere online. And this is bizarre to me to begin with. Well, not so bizarre once I actually done my deep dive and dug into the production houses that we are going to be speaking about, the criminals in this case, if you wish. It's more that it was bizarre to me, first of all, because the casting for this show and the actual shooting happened in 2013, not so long ago, in, the scope of things, and then it was broadcast in 2014. So there's no excuse, like, reality television happened before that and happened after that, but mostly here, importantly, before that. Like, this show looks like it was made by MTV in 2004. It looks like it was made into some Next era. Like, remember the TV show Next? Like, it looks just bad. There's no excuse for the show to be this bad. However, also, there are other shows that, even from the sounds of it, you wouldn't think they needed a second season, there was ever going to be a second season. The first thing that came to my mind is Ex on the Beach. I actually watched the first season of Ex on the Beach one summer when I was really, really fucking bored. And Ex on the Beach, like, on the premise, like, once you actually learn that, yeah, the exes pop out of the sea and then you're sharing a house with an ex, like, yeah, it's psychologically damaging. That's not it. Like, with season 2, the shock effect of that show just isn't there. Like, you know what the show is about. Even though the contestants, obviously, prior to the show didn't. The shock value is just not there. The show is just that mediocre. Like, you wouldn't think it was going to continue. But it does. And again, this show never had that. Never had any replay value, never had any forethought into how do we make it so interesting that it requires a second season. I don't know what's happening upstairs, but my neighbor is drilling something, it's drilling into my mind. There was just no forethought about any of that. Now, just like with the actual true crime cases that I cover on this channel, they never fully make sense, right? The motivations behind why people do what they do, it's never 100% clear. However, once you start digging deeper into certain details, certain things do paint a type of picture, right? Once you find out about the premise of the show, how they even came out with it, like who the producers were, how they cast Harry versus how they cast the girls, then how they set the scene for these women to be deceived, and then how they followed through, well, a lot of things really start to become clear and make you believe that this was truly a social motherfucking experiment. Yeah, that this was truly just a test of the producers seeing, like, can they deceive women into believing into anything? So, because the show is criminal, start to finish, I have put some awards, depending on a scale of a crime that is committed by the production house, that I will be taking from certain iconic, cult, really, videos in British culture, because that seemed appropriate. The first thing, the lowest of the crimes, that is just kind of not psychologically damaging to anybody, it's just quote-unquote acceptable production tricks that people use on other reality shows, is this clip by this estate agent. I have never watched this thing, but I have discovered this video one day and have since then not stopped using this expression. You don't know it because I cover serious topics on this channel, but silly Billy Award. Silliness, when silliness ensues, this is what I will play.
I'm a right cherry. I've been using my own key for my flat. Oh, bloody hell. Silly Billy Awards. I win the Silly Billy Awards. Oh, it's nice.
Going up in the scale of crimes, once the production team commits something tacky, where you kind of want to scream like show some respect to these women, they're actual victims here, I'm going to be playing this tune from when this guy from Come Dine With Me is eliminated, and it's the What a Sad Little Life Jane, but it's the particular clip when he says you should get some lessons in grace and decorum. It's just on point. It's a royal show. It's just play the clip. Just play the clip. They'll understand. They will eventually.
You ruined my night completely so you could have the money, but I hope now you spend it on getting some lessons in grace and decorum, because you have all the grace of a reversing dump truck without any tyres on.
Now for the worst of the worst, for the worst offenses, you have actual blood on your hands. Like, I want to bring you to the electric chair and be the person to shave your hair off so that we can electrocute you, right? I'm going to play something that I use as my favorite gif, and it's from the Peep Show, which I didn't know until researching for this show, so that part is comical. There's nothing comical about this offense, though. It's the part where he says the secret ingredient is crime, and it's how he says crime that is criminal in itself, and this is why it's for the worst of the offenses that happen in this series.
Me. There you go. 3 munchies. Did you snick this? Of course I did. You should be paying me to eat this shit. Wow. Free choco. Tasty. The secret ingredient is crime.
The criminal offenses here really start from the get-go, so we have to talk about the premise of the show first, so you understand really what the show was supposed to be. Then the inspiration for it, how they came up with the name, who was they, who the producers of the show were, because I think that's really crucial in you understanding like how this show even came about, then the casting, and then we're gonna dive into the nitty-gritty of the actual show. The whole premise, right, is to find 12 American women that they're going to transport to London, UK, isolate them prior to this show to begin with, and then kind of just drop them, dispatch them to this big estate in expensive-ass cars where they're going to be served by a butler who, as we will discuss, is played by an actual British actor. They are going to see servants, they're going to see all of these exquisite things for almost 2 months in order to deceive them to think that the bachelor they're going to be introduced to is actual royalty, is none else than Prince Harry himself. In reality, the bachelor they're going to be competing for is just going to be a mediocre white British man called Matt Hicks, who, according to the technology at the time, had a striking resemblance to Prince Harry. The whole idea came from a show called Joey Millionaire that was broadcast in 2003 and sort of worked there. It was criminally sexist on so many levels. It just exploited that whole idea of gold digger culture, of the women being presented by everything that was fake in order to deceive them to believe that they are dating this man, and then are they going to accept him for who he really was? And oh my god, if they don't, that is on them, because it's not like we have been deceiving them this whole time. It's bizarre, it's bizarre. Joy Millionaire didn't work even when it was broadcast. It should have stayed in 2003. It had 3 seasons, was cancelled for a reason. However, the producers here thought like, oh, how do we translate this to the UK and then like bring American women somewhere else, because that's even further going to confuse them, because they will not know, even though, yes, Prince Harry is supposedly royalty, they will have no idea of like who this man is, like how to even spot whether or not this is the real deal and this is actually a rich person or not. And if I fucking had to watch for this research the trailer for Joy Millionaire, so do you. Let me just play you little bits and pieces as I actually tell you the similarities, just to show you how much of a complete rip-off of this idea it was based off of this show from 10 years prior to this.
Once, there was an average Joe who made a humble living by simply moving dirt. Meet Evan Marriott. Income, $19,000 a year. What will happen when this average Joe is transformed into a multi-millionaire?
Thank you. So does the red wine go in there?
He will be taught the ways of the wealthy.
Y'all ready for the lesson? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Similarly to Joey, Matt is going to be placed in this charming countryside estate where he will be coached by a butler on proper etiquette and fine dining.
Now, Evan will invite 20 beautiful women to a chateau in France who believe he has just inherited over $50 million.
This is a fairy pool. Wow. Your man has 50 million on it. That's ridiculous. The man of my dreams is honest. There he is.
How you doing?
He's so handsome.
He will lavish them with riches in order to find the woman who will love him for who he really is.
I've never dated somebody that made a lot of money. Oh, it's amazing. I'm like really happy. Yeah, I'm happy. Oh my God.
See it over there?
This is so amazing. We're living in a fairy tale. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Like, we'll have a fairy tale ending or won't it?
Another similarities is that even the one-to-one interviews with women follow a similar pattern, that the contestants are constantly emphasizing how they're competitive and how the rest of the women are just there as decoration, they're just there as bridesmaids, because this is why they're going to win this show. Start to finish, it should have been halted, it should have been stopped. Someone just making a decision to shut this down day one. There was just no excuse for the shooting happening in 2013 and actually airing in 2014.
I try not to think about having to explain the whole story behind the $50 million because the more you think about it, I'll slip up.
Oh, he's mine. Take a vitamin, get over it. I have never seen grown, independent, self-sufficient women act like such brats. I'm a competitive person. This whole thing, are you gorgeous?
I'm waist deep in it now. I can't go back.
Who is the perfect guy's personality to be for you? He has to tell me the truth all the time, no matter how much it hurts.
The more time I spend with myself, by myself, the more I realize I've never lied about anything to get a girl in bed. I'll tell you anything you want to know about me. Yeah? You don't trust me?
I trust your character. I feel comfortable. You don't have to convince me. It's so romantic and so beautiful.
Now, I'm living the biggest lie in front of America, and I think it's just the most ironic thing in the world.
To speak about the production, and here I would love to preface even from the intro, and this is why I mentioned it even there were two production companies involved. So just keep this in the back of your mind every single time when you feel like judging these girls for being gullible or for not knowing what Prince Harry looked like, because you would have probably been fooled yourself. Like, I'm just constantly thinking here if, you know, I don't know why, what would happen to me, but like, let's say I'm cast on whatever reality show of a similar nature and transported from here to the US, isolated for God knows what time, and then somebody's trying to sell me, oh, hey, you are to meet Joe Biden's son, or you are to meet one of the Trumps, which would be disgusting, but again, not really impossible, like one of the Trump's kids, and all of you kind of know they all have a very similar mug to their father. Would you really know which one is which? Like, what they actually look like? I had to Google actually Joe Biden's son to see if he even had a son, so that just kind of tells you everything. When isolated, obviously, without the actual mobile phones, smartphones, like access to the internet, anything, would you really just transport it somewhere without any further context, have an idea who you were about to meet, like what they actually look like in real life, even if you have seen them in the magazines and stuff like, and then, you know, apply that, yes, UK to US or vice versa, or just to any other country. Would you be able to be deceived yourself? You just constantly kind of try to remind yourself as you're going into this show. As for the show creators, we have Ryan Seacrest Productions, and then we have Zigzag Productions, which is Danny Fenton. They are the names that are tightly associated. They are under the creators. Everybody else is kind of like either as producers or directors that work for these production companies. So even the brief glance at their CVs, at their IMDb pages, Ryan Seacrest Productions and then Zigzag Productions, kind of makes it clear these guys specialize in smaller shows, one-season type shows. Ryan Seacrest especially in spin-off shows, and especially really focusing on the Kardashians. I think he is responsible for every single spin-off show for the Kardashians, from like Chloe and Lamar to Rob and China, whatever. Literally anything that you can think of that came out on the back of the actual Keeping Up with the Kardashians and that lasted for just like 1 year, that's Ryan Seacrest. So not really the most original thinking when it comes to these production houses, and that is truly, truly not the point. Danny Fenton and Zigzag Productions, on the other end, I did not know a single show on this list, so of course that meant deep diving, checking some of these shows and looking into like what they were all about. So I checked his website. Here are a couple of highlights. There is a show called 40-Year-Old Virgins. Why did I open this up? Because I knew that the trailer was going to be sad, and I'm not going to play you a trailer for that, but also because this triggered my real fear, okay? 18-year-old Maya, I mean, truly throughout all of my teenage years, but I think it was the 18th birthday when I was like, I gotta do something about it. Because when I was like in my early teens, 40-Year-Old Virgin, you know, the movie with Steve Carell came out, and I was really scared. You guys, I was really scared. I was like 13. I was like, when is this going to happen for me? Because I knew my purpose in life was to have sex, okay? And this show, just even from the surface, was triggering. And it just says like, oh, they've, both of these contestants on this show are virgins and not through choice. Like, yes, they're 45 and like 40. We know that it's not by choice. Don't trigger me like this, Danny Fenton. There is another one that was triggering on a whole different level though, and I found a trailer for it, because if I have seen it and it's criminal, you have to watch it. So the show is called Dawn Porter Goes Lesbian. Then the second title is gets a new man. I don't understand. Which one is it? It's the completely opposite things. Immediately triggering. What they state happens on this show is Dawn is about to immerse herself into the world of lesbians and embark on a journey to find exactly what they get up to, what makes them tick, and ultimately whether she can bring herself to have and enjoy a real lesbian relationship. The show was made in 2008, I will give it that. And I think, if I have googled the right person, this woman went on and has like bestsellers and had written some books since. However, I'm just gonna play the trailer for this and say that crimes have been committed and just not make any further comments, because this will tell you everything that you need to know. Let's just roll the tape.
I'm 28 years old and I'm a very sexual person. I absolutely adore men. They're my best friends, boyfriends and lovers. But sometimes I have sexual urges towards women. I've heard I'm not alone. A few years ago, I acted on my fantasies and had a sexual encounter with a girl as part of a threesome. I really enjoyed it, but afterwards I went back to men and I haven't done it again since. It did get me thinking though, could it be possible for my feelings for women to go deeper than a quick bit of sexy fun? I decided to go on a mission to find out. For the next month, I'm going to give up men and immerse myself completely into the world of gay women. If I live, sleep, work and play with girls, can I change my sexual desires?
whole premise of I have had a threesome with a man and a woman and now I want to know what women get up to, what lesbians get up to. I truly hope it stayed in 2008. I have then stopped doing the research into this man's website because slightly problematic, very much would like to leave that behind. But the whole summary now, what this kind of makes you realize looking at their profiles, at their IMDb pages, they know how to produce one-hit wonders.
Like, oh, she a one-hit wonder, da da da, but it's like, now what? Two-hit wonder? Like, the fuck?
No, I don't think that's the definition of one-hit wonder, Maya. More like one-season show that did not even, back when they were produced, had their time and place, right? They know how to produce things in a very mediocre kind of way, shows that make you question why you're watching them, make your blood boil, and are also coming at this from a very American perspective. Sensationalism, no research. I cannot stress this enough. In this show, as I will be actually playing you clips from it, you can see exactly when they give up on doing anything, putting these contestants through anything even remotely British. They can think of about like 10 British ideas, and usually they're sports related. And then these women just go to like American fairs in the UK, well, they're created for them. And everything else for like the remainder of the show is just very American based. I'm like, what was the point? Why did this not trigger you to cancel this? Pull it off the air, what the fuck? Can you not think of anything else? Anyways, sometimes that can work for a full season, and really here the emphasis of both of these production companies was always on quantity and not quality. And the part of them not being able to think of enough of the British themed competitions, like British themed events for this show, challenges for these women, for these contestants, like that's just silly billy. It's just watching producers crumble with their own idea. But then thinking about the idea of a member of the royal family, especially Harry, being on a reality TV at the time in 2013, wasn't all that ludicrous. So I've done kind of like a deep dive, and let me give you the highlights of what actual Prince Harry had done in the years prior to 2013. So there was Halloween of 2005. This is when he famously, for whatever reason, turned up to a party in a Nazi costume. Then there were pictures released of Harry partying it up in Las Vegas in 2012 in a very famous outfit that the producers here will try to recreate. There were some nude pictures or semi-nude pictures of Harry that were leaked by TMZ in 2014. He was also known for dating a British actress and then having kind of a public breakup from her in 2014. And then it was obviously anticipated his 30th birthday is coming up. What is he going to do? Like, where is he gonna be? Is he gonna party? Is he going to finally settle down? Does he have a new girlfriend? All of those speculations were up in the air. So given his past, and just the past couple of years, it may not have been entirely out of the question for him to consider doing so, just doing what he was doing and partying it up and being known for being a playboy on a TV show. How these two brains collided, Ryan Seacrest that is, and Danny Fenton, we will never truly know. Both of them did have production houses, but I couldn't find any articles of the two of them actually like meeting up, having a professional business meeting, because I don't think that is how this happened. What we know is that our Danny boy had a vision, and his vision was to go online and check these different lookalike websites. So like think Cameo. Cameo is more for like videos, Maya, for people's birthdays by actual celebrities. So don't think Cameo. Think lookalike websites. And we are going to speak about this because this is a concept that yet again I hope had died somewhere in the past along the way. So he thought of an idea, brave one day in the shower. I am totally inventing that part, by the way. Don't fucking come for my god. He thought of finding somebody who is 29, right? Because Harry at this point, actual Prince Harry is 29. So finding somebody who will resemble Harry closely. And then he just wanted to attempt to convince 12 women that he is the real deal for television, for the sake of entertainment. He would tell Good Morning Britain, so an ITV show here in the UK, that he met over 100 Harrys, from Australia to Canada, from Ireland to New Zealand. And that Matt was actually one of the first 6 people that he met, and as soon as they met him, they knew he was the right guy for the show. 2 things here. If you meet somebody among the first 6 people, why do you then go on and go and speak to like 100 people? If you're convinced like this is the man that looks like Harry a lot, like you then go on. Like just travel the world looking for 100 people, but the second film, the world's smallest violin for the effort. This man traveled the world just based off of the idea. Nothing like was produced, set, business meeting, no. He traveled the world and just spoke to like 100 plus men while clearly making his decision like day one. It's just so bizarre to me. Just play the silly Billie Jean. There's silliness on display. Silliness on display here. Serious fucking silliness.
Oh, bloody hell. Silly Billy Awards. I win the Silly Billy Awards.
There's a third thing, by the way, but I just cannot stop thinking about how he met 100 men, like there's hours invested here. At no point did he think this is a bad idea, let's stop this. No, he just proceeded. But Matt Hicks is 23 years old. So some would say there's a visual difference of somebody who is actually 23 and 29, not Danny Fenton, no. No, he did not notice any visible difference in age, and he proceeds. According to the director, and this director actually loops us in that the contestants weren't the only one that were completely duped, they're just going into everything blindly. Like, everybody else seemed to be people on the production team. So this director, Ashley Gorman, said that this, in terms of casting, wasn't just very unusual. It was very standard for like the producers to actually look into and interview like many people, and the age difference even sometimes wouldn't be an issue as long as somebody can pull things off. However, what he also said is that what wasn't standard was Ashley receiving a phone call asking him to direct the series without receiving any details about the premise. And the way that they have sold this, like Danny Fenton rings Ashley Gorman, the director, and this actually director produced The Biggest Loser, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, like all of the big American shows. So that phone call went, I think, genuinely something like this, like Danny asking Ashley if he can make this, whatever this be, look like a Hugh Grant rom-com. And that was it. They didn't tell Ashley where this was going to be filmed. It was all shrouded in secrecy, so Ashley had to blindly trust in an experiment without being privy to the end goal. Kind of like the actual contestants, which to me is bizarre and just, I think, speaks to the quality of everything that you're about to see and how there was just no real research done, right? When people filmed The Crown, right? Like, this is why I couldn't suffer for more than one season, because it's so obvious that it was created by Americans, that there was just no research done, that everything was there to sensationalize these supposedly real-life events, and it's just not really how you can do a whole-ass show, whether it is reality or whether it is a show for Netflix. The idea is there, as bad as we think it is, and the man is now envisioned. So Danny, the next step is to think of a catchy name, to sell it to, I think it was Fox in this case, to sell it basically to somebody who is actually going to broadcast. Because yeah, they're production houses, they can produce, but then somebody needs to take the bait and actually showcase this fucking ridiculousness. He said about this thinking process, his words, literally the 4 words came into my head: I wanna marry Harry. And we saw the show of those 4 words. Round of applause. There was just no thinking process whatsoever at all throughout any of it. Back to the actual casting, right? To put you in Matt's point of view, how he had been casted, like how they actually found him from what he had seen and why he maybe accepted to do anything like this. So why Matt Hicks? And how did this look from his perspective? He previously posted pictures of himself on a website for professional lookalikes and believes that the show that he'd interviewed several other Prince Harry lookalikes had done so before selecting him. So I will hopefully play this video of Matthew explaining this to you. He just put some pictures, the website accepted the profile, and then the production company, like people scouting for those profiles, were the ones to find him.
First of all, how did you even get involved in this? Did they come to you?
They came to me. I'd been told for several years that I bore a resemblance to the royal Prince Harry, and some of my friends were like, "You can cash in on this, make some money." So I put some pictures on a website. They accepted, a profile, and that's how the production company found me. They saw the profile, sent an email, and said, "We've got this idea. How about it?"
I watched this interview, I found the online interviews, and I had also watched the Ryan Seacrest podcast where he talks to Matt Hicks, and it's just very murky. Everything about it is just very murky in terms of like the previous experience that he mentions. Where was he cast? Where was the demand for this? Was it Children's Birthday? I don't think so. Was it Handos? Maybe, possibly a better option. Where was the demand? Who was demanding to meet or have a Skype call or do whatever with the Prince Harry lookalike? What? Explain yourself. What were you doing? Were you at the Handos just posing at like a stripper Prince Harry? What was it? I want to know. This is truly one thing I want to know. What were you up to? What were you up to, Matt Hicks?
This is Matt Hicks.
I'm 23 and I'm looking for love.
He's single. Poor.
I can't afford a car at the minute, so I'm currently borrowing a friend's bike to cycle to work each day.
But he's good-hearted.
My job specifically involves clearing up oil spills. It's hard work, but it's something I really do enjoy.
He's truly looking for love.
We know what he's doing during his day job. He's clearing up oil spills, then in his free time he already impersonates Prince Harry for whatever reason, and one day he gets a call after he had already spoken with Danny Fenton, and he is told he's the chosen one. He's been chosen for this. The only thing though, he has to alter his appearance a little bit, because Matt Hicks was originally and still is actually blonde, so he had to dye his hair ginger to resemble Prince Harry some more. And they kind of tell him like, hey, yeah, for about a week from what I have seen on Ryan Seacrest's podcast, we have to train you on princely activities like horseback riding, fencing, ballroom dancing, just extensively brief you on Prince Harry, like things like his birthday, his zodiac sign and stuff like that, like life and interests, and does he have a brother, does he not, how many nephews and nieces does he have, in order for him to fully be immersed into this role. What not Harry had said at this point is that he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know the premise of the show initially. He was just told that there is a show coming out using lookalikes. He only agreed to the show if it would come out looking the way that he wanted. He didn't want to disrespect the girls. Now, my man, how are you going to want the show to come out looking the way you want? You're not the producer. And also, if somebody tells you you have to change your appearance, you have to be trained to become a prince, you are deceiving the girls. It's deceit. It's assuming someone's identity. Deceit by definition. So, for a week, and we only see 8 minutes, I must preface 8 minutes of this on the show, he is instructed to mimic Prince Harry's behavior and also somehow be himself. So he needs to like convince these people with his knowledge, extensive knowledge on Prince Harry. However, he has to also have some creative liberties and be himself and just kind of like try to make them believe like, oh no, this was actually my childhood and my upbringing, like give some flavor to everything so that the contestants end up believing in it. He was also instructed not to outrightly claim that he was Prince Harry, as he did not want to lie to the women on the show. At this point, he would have to get a secret ingredient, this crime horn, but taking everything into consideration, and I hate to say this, it is a more minor offense of the grace and decorum kind, because he will truly be swept into this. By about, I think, episode 4, you can see that yes, even though he is in on it, he has a lot more information than the girls did, he's not 100% a villain. He is aware of something, however, he just gets so swept into this production by the people who have done this before, who have produced shows like this before, who are using everything, every device that they have, and you kind of slightly at least feel for him as well. Taking everything that you have at your disposal now, the question is why? Why did this show happen? The casting, where they searched for this man for months to deceive some American girls, for what? Who wins here and what do they win? Because there is no mention of a prize. Why are they doing it? We will never know, and this is why this show never had any replay factor, because it could never answer that. Like, usually, you know, with these shows, like, at least there is a reward inside. However stupid they are here, that wasn't like promised to any of them. So like, why is he going on a show not knowing that he was going to win something, deceiving these women? Is it for love? Please. Spare me, spare me. No one questions any of it. Production team, Matthew, the girls, and the show will be miraculously shot, produced, and then aired. So now, let me take you out of the point of view of Matthew Hicks and put you into the shoes of the contestants, or truly the real victims in this case. Like with many reality TV series, these contestants come on from different backgrounds and also looking for different things. So we will meet Kimberly, who was hoping to find a genuine guy. We'll meet Maggie, who considers herself to be fun, doesn't take herself way too seriously.
What is he, just like a British guy that likes American
Only
girls?
likes American girls? Like, everyone's from America,
All the girls can be American,
I
right?
know,
Yeah.
I think so.
My name's Maggie. I'm 24 years old. All I know so far is I'm going to be competing for one guy with 11 other girls.
There's more!
Hi! If this is his place, he must be like a big shot. I mean, who is this guy?
So, ladies,
Hi,
aren't you all
Jackie.
so
Oh,
pretty?
Jacqueline.
My name is Kimberly Birch, and I am from Long Island, New York. We don't have tea parties where I'm from. I don't think Long Island iced tea counts.
Thank you so much.
This is so freaking cute.
My version of afternoon tea is happy hour.
Then there are the ones who would quit their job and were like putting their career on break, and this was kind of just like their pastime as they were in between jobs, like Leah, the cocktail waitress who quit her job for the show.
Aren't you all so
Oh,
pretty?
Jacqueline.
Leah Tom, I'm cool. Intimidating, it's fine. The guys I've been dating lately are the whole musician. My car's breaking down every 5 seconds. I know how to play guitar, so that makes up for it kind of thing. No, I just quit my job as a cocktail waitress. Like, I've gotten so many strange offers working at a hotel. Like, couples have asked me to come up with them.
There's always a couple of girls that introduce themselves as hopeless romantics, the girls that are there for the happily ever after and look for the one true love. And in this case, that girl is Karina.
I'm not getting a job!
I'm Karina Kennedy. I'm a hopeless romantic. I believe in only one guy that you really truly fall in love with. I just graduated with my doctorate in physical therapy.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
There's this moment when Karina introduces herself and she says that she's 25, and 25 actually seems to be the high stage of the show. Like, all of the girls are 25 or below, and Matthew himself is 23. And one of the girls, when she says that, says, oh, so we have another oldie. The way I would actually throw fists, if somebody was like, oh, you're an oldie because you're like 2 years or 1 year older than me, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I would choose physical violence.
Oh, good, we have another oldie.
Yay!
Oh, everyone's younger?
Yeah, I know, right? I can tell things are gonna get catty with the other girls.
There's another girl looking for a Prince Charming story like Kelly, and then we have a preschool teacher who is also there just looking for fun, Rose.
I wonder when we're meeting Prince Charming. I know. My name is Kelly. I grew up in the South, and people have said that I'm a Southern belle, which I guess you could say is pretty true. I love this love story about this lucky girl who meets this amazing Prince Charming. And I am confident I can talk to this guy. Just don't pee my pants. I'll be fine.
Nice, well, I've got you, right?
Yes, knight-in-shining armor. He catches me. And this is a fairy tale beginning.
You okay there?
I'm okay.
That could have gone extremely wrong, couldn't it?
But I think it went a little bit nice.
How's your dating career to date?
I don't do well.
You've done really well so far.
Well, with you, I mean, I figured I can't pick him.
That's the other thing about American Girls Volume. They probably heard you in the next town, but we're cool.
Well, I work with deaf and hard of hearing, so you gotta really...
You've got a very good point there. And American Girls don't seem to have inside voices. It's all loud, in your face, brash. Just they're really forward.
You catch me behind closed doors, I'll be all over you.
Oh, madam. How about that? American Girls aren't shy in being forward, are they?
You know what? It's all about aggressive. If you like it.
Well, no.
Rose would do interviews afterwards, just like many girls did after the show had aired, and she would say, which is pretty standard for reality television, they have been introduced to a psychologist prior to the show to assess their mental state and just kind of like mentally prep them for what they're about to go into. Nobody really bothered to tell them they're gonna be lied to. However, she was asked by this psychologist if there's something that she would really not like to happen, and her response was, I wouldn't like if the producers lied to me. May I add more? We meet Megan, who is another oldie, but nobody really, I think, says that. Well, she's another one who is 25, and this is the way that she introduces herself.
I don't see the other girls as competition. I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm beautiful. I'm the package deal. And a lot of these girls don't have anything.
The next contestant holds a special place in my heart. As she introduced herself, I was like, this is my favorite person. She can do no wrong. She is my bestie and I fully support her in every single decision. However criminal it is, and she doesn't really do anything criminal. However, tell me this is not the best introduction you have ever heard on a reality TV.
I want some carne asada fries so bad. My name's Chelsea. I'm a little off my rocker, but it's fine. My dream guy, he doesn't necessarily have to be tall, but he has to be handsome, rich, funny, rich.
I'm not really sure if I'm nervous or excited. I don't know.
I'm
excited.
I'm really nervous.
Immediate favorite. This is how I would introduce myself just in any real life situation and you would believe it. So they're the ones that obviously come through with a competitive side, as I have mentioned. So there's Annalisa, who is Miss LA, and she kind of just immediately shuts everybody down, saying they're gonna be her bridesmaids. There's Jacqueline, who describes herself as being awesome, but can be a bitch. There's Andrea, who participated in pageants through the years, and is because of that, also very competitive.
My girlfriends, we were always like, you're amazing. Yeah, right. You're so ugly. I'm naturally a competitive person. I'll do whatever it takes to get this man. And I'm going to be your princess. All the girls in the house, you're going to be my bridesmaids. I don't usually get nervous before dates or anything like that. I don't care who this guy is. Prince Harry, Harry Potter, I don't care. I can honestly say I'm not nervous. Men don't intimidate me. Men don't make me nervous. So I'm just excited. I'm not worried about myself. I love it. Or you.
I'm Jacqueline. I'm 25. I am awesome, but at the same time, can be a bitch.
Is this too, like, I look like I'm going to work? Yeah, a little bit.
What a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. I'm Adrian. I'm 25. I've never been to a masquerade ball before. I just haven't had the best of luck with the guys I date from East Texas. The most romantic date I've ever been on, we went to the casino. That's about as romantic as it gets in East Texas. Yay! We met,
The last girl we get introduced to, like midway through episode 2, criminal on so many levels, is the one that is the smart one. And she makes her whole personality about that. So we meet Carly, who is a pre-med student. She tells us about her GPA and what she studies and why she stands out from the other girls.
Pre-med, cell and molecular biology, the interest in ophthalmology. Bitch.
As we are in the point of view of the girls, all of these girls were already in the circles where they were to be discovered by agencies or are already models or actresses or in the entertainment industry in some way, shape or form. And as Matt is being given the minimal amount of details, so are the girls. Matt, let's just be real, is given a lot more details than these girls are. He knows he's deceiving them. Cool. Andrea would later do interviews and she would say that they were told they were going on a TV show that is called Dream Date. And it was more about the experience for the girls instead of finding love. That people just kind of try to step away from others calling it The Bachelor. Like, don't compare it to The Bachelor, it's just the original idea, which, sure, we just literally explain you that it was a complete ripoff of another show. That it was set in London, that makes it original. Great. Also, it wasn't set in London, as you're about to find out, and would involve extravagant rendezvous, but this was pretty much what they were told. Called Dream Date, it's about finding love and having fun, and that was about it. They had no idea who they would be dating and that it was a competition program. The whole thing was as vague as possible, and this is where I put in the script, I need legal on this shit, okay? Legal. It's such a cool way to say, this is why. So people are genius when creating the YouTube channel names. He's a lawyer and he has a YouTube channel and I have used him before. I don't actually know for real cases or like some Home Alone thing that I have done like for the podcast. But what I need him on is to actually explain to us, because I couldn't find this information anywhere online and like it truly intrigues me. When the contestants are going for reality shows, like, yeah, cool, I guess, because I don't know, how can you lie to them as a producer about the show name? Like, don't they need to sign some paperwork, right? Like NDAs, anything, really, what is shared with them? Like, why is this such a murky territory where nobody had ever known anything like that? Like, I tried to find some paperwork and stuff on like, contestants going on whatever, Love Island, and I like can't find anything. Like, what kind of information are you legally obliged to share with these contestants? Because this is such a bizarre thing to me. Like, you know nothing, you know absolutely zero thing, because where this proceeds, right? Where this proceeds is actually like a hostage situation. Is setting the scene, yes, for them being brainwashed. However, it is genuinely scary because these 12 girls are pulled from different parts of the US, like a lot of them are actually from the South, and they are flown over to Heathrow. Then at Heathrow they are transported, I think individually, I don't think they meet each other at all before the show, to a hotel. And now in this hotel, they're all in their own rooms. They don't have access to TV, to the internet, to their phones, to anything. The only thing they would say in this hotel they would have access to would be a Bible. I'm sorry, but this is like indoctrination. Like, this is Opus Dei. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? So they are just chilling in those hotels. They can't even speak, let alone to each other and meet each other, but even to the people bringing them food. And in some sources, I have said like this was for 3 days before they then transport them to the estate where the whole show takes place. In the interviews from the girls, they said it was a complete week. Like, it's an actual week, and it's a setup, because after a full week of a complete isolation, once the filming was to begin, the producers did this so that they go a bit crazy. Like, so that they're finally, like, out and they can let loose and, you know, show, like, probably the worst parts of their own personalities. But if you think about this, it's like the complete isolation. It's to prompt them to do anything for the show and for the entertainment, but also it is done in such a way for them to not have any information, like minimal information, and for them to just be so desperate to communicate with any other living soul. So the timeline here, the process beginning to end, the girls would say lasted a month and a half. And this is actually pretty standard. I googled that, I just know that on top of my head. But most of the reality shows do take a month and a half or 2 months. But that is, you know, if the content is content. That's like decent if the production teams are producing. Here they were scrambling. I don't know what these girls would get up to. It just, even visually, with the content they actually showed, looked like they were bored out of their mind. Like, they were so bored. So in terms of a timeline, as Matt is getting his coaching on fencing and how to be Prince Harry, these girls are isolated in an actual hotel. Hostages, actual hostage situation. So after the full week of complete isolation, they then would transport them to the estate. The brainwashing is just to begin, because from this hotel, they are led, escorted rather, in expensive cars and stuff, to this estate in the middle of nowhere, but they immediately see how grandiose it is. They're introduced to bodyguards, to servers, to a butler that was actually played by one of really decent British actors. Like, Paul Leonard is not to be messed with. He was on everything from Bridgerton, House of the Dragon, Coronation Street, and yes, obviously then his Dream Date under his wing. So the intention of everybody here, because they're all working for the production companies, is to make sure that the identity of the bachelor is never explicitly disclosed to the contestants, at least not for the first couple of episodes, right? Instead, they're encouraged to draw their own conclusion based on the variety of clues, such as the resemblance that totally is there, the regal ambience of Englefield House, where they're going to be based, the extravagant dates, the presence of actual professional servants, and the security team with experience in safeguarding heads of state. Matt will not even reveal his name to the girls. That was just one of the devices that they would use. Kingsley, the butler, would always refer to him as Sir, and it would only be because of a slip-up that he had with a contestant in episode 5, where he kind of revealed that he is indeed Prince Harry, and because of the production team decided to dupe these girls even further, where Kingsley at the dinner table at some point would tell the girls that Sir is actually His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales, that the girls will learn that, you know, they shouldn't just be calling him Sir, rather that he is indeed Prince Harry. Another technique that the production team had used, and this is actually evil, this is just pure evil, is they were told they were speaking to a therapist. So a therapist was brought onto this estate because some of the girls started doubting whether or not this is real Prince Harry. And later they would find out that this person they were speaking with wasn't actually a licensed therapist giving them advice and guiding them through how to go through this now, like this shocker of like chatting with actual royalty. Rather, it was just somebody from the production team. The therapist would tell these girls, you have to learn how to trust your mind. I understand that you're in a different country and you don't know what's going on, but you have to trust the people here. It's not good for you to keep questioning. The gaslighting, just secret ingredient was crime. It was crime to begin with.
The secret ingredient is crime.
As if this wasn't enough, them referring to him as Sir, showing them this lavish lifestyle, having the actual therapist gaslight these girls, they would also have people from the production team, or probably these servants as well, like anybody they had there, off camera, of course, stand in front of the girls' suits and whisper, kind of like spread a gossip of, oh, we have to get him back to Buckingham Palace. The royal family is very upset. They're not happy about the show. And this is something that they did to like mess with their minds and further just brainwash them into thinking like, oh, this is actual royalty, like they should believe it, because otherwise why are all these people just gossiping in front of the doors? And pin this in the back of your minds, because Matt Hicks himself will be making decisions based off of certain conversations that he is going to be eavesdropping on that happened in front of his suit. However, those are shown on camera, these weren't. Like what these girls went through and how they were tricked was not shown on camera. Why? 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 The way that they had used these subtle techniques and over time, like the girls obviously listening in on what was going on, the whole therapist thing, like whenever they would have doubts, it really played with girls' minds. It really messed them up because their own reality, they would say, started breaking down. So they were totally lost as to what was really going on. And then once Kingsley actually sat them down and told them, oh no, this is indeed Prince Harry, they said they felt the relief. I mean, you can think of multiple reasons why, if for nothing else, they knew what to refer to him as, right? Like, what is the correct name? What is the correct terminology that they should be using? But also, it just meant like, okay, cool, this is now who he is, and this is how we can actually treat them. All of the girls that were interviewed later said that the production team did a really great job, that they can give them that. So, in terms of the actual structure, going into now the actual show and the episodes, every episode is going to have one girl in a suit, in a special suit that is just like adjacent to his. She's the chosen one, they would go on dates, and then the rest of the girls entertain themselves and at times do just humiliating ass things while he's on a date with the girl that he had chosen. Humiliating things range from them cleaning the stables, getting muddy, running an obstacle course, making tea while the other girls play some sports with him. This is where I would just departed. I fucking hate humiliating ass things created by mostly men towards female contestants on reality shows, but this is when I'd be just saying goodbye. On every date, though, every day that he would have with the chosen girl, something would happen that would then make the girls believe that he is truly royalty, while the rest of the girls would get catty because they were idle most of the time and just left chilling and speculating. So the girl returns from a date and then tells them everything about it, making them think that he really is the prince, and making the girls hate her, become jealous, and then arguments ensue. Then, at dinner, every kind of episode ends with dinner, Kingsley comes in, and Harry picks two girls, one that he will send home, and the other one is handed over the keys to the suit. What becomes obvious in this farce is that if the girl suspects that he is not a prince, she is the one to go home next. The production really just did not produce. This is just no, absolutely no production. Content was not contenting, and production was not producing.
Can I read?
Yeah, Kenya.
Can you host?
Because the production was doing such an amazing job, most of these girls' dates with the fake Harry would happen in London, near the popular landmarks. And they were accompanied by chaperones there to ensure that they followed the rules and that they didn't discuss any topics they weren't supposed to. However, after one such date, they were instructed to walk down the short block to reach the car, and obviously, like, do not look around. like, just look down, do not stop. So of course, what they do, they look the hell around. And one contestant couldn't resist glancing over to the souvenir shop. And she saw those masks with the eyes cut out, right? Of Prince William, the Queen, and Prince Harry, just on sticks, with the eyes cut out. And this was the moment that this contestant had seen Prince Harry's mask and realized it wasn't him. Like, the person they're seeing every single day on this show was not Prince Harry. She realized the production team was trying to manipulate them and that she wasn't actually going crazy. Despite her doubts, she had been brainwashed by the production team to this point to go along and to just keep her sanity. You know what these therapists have been telling her, just keep moving on, like nothing is happening. She realized that the production team was trying to manipulate them, and she wasn't going crazy. Despite of her initial doubts, she had been brainwashed by the production team to go along with everything in order to keep her sanity. She will proceed to keep her mouth shut and will eventually win this show. The year is 2013. Heart Attack by Demi Lovato is topping the charts. Wrecking Ball has just been released. Scotland Yard claimed to have found new evidence and new witnesses in the Madeleine McCann case. Prince George of Cambridge, Prince Harry's nephew, is born to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. He is the sole grandson of the Prince of Wales and is third in line at this moment in time to succeed Queen Elizabeth II. And in August of 2013, 12 American girls are dropped in front of Downton Abbey, or what they perceive to be that.
Oh my god, I knew it! They're taking us to a castle! I totally guessed!
12 American girls have come to England to meet a man they'll think is a real prince.
We're in Downton Abbey!
Gotta give it to these girls, I had to look where Downton Abbey was based, and apparently the location for the series is in Hampshire. They were in Berkshire, you know, shires. Do you know your shires? I fucking don't. After the initial isolation period, the contestants were brought to Englefield House. And this is actually going to be the same Elizabethan country home where Pippa Middleton would later get married. This is where they are to remain for most of the filming, unless they go on dates. On the day that they started filming, there would be a Rolls Royce that took them and the other girls to this house, the giant estate that looked to all of them like a castle. That is where the girls started to think the show had something to do with a royal. As the girls are familiarizing themselves with the estate, they're trying to make deductions who they're about to meet. Is it a diplomat? Is it royalty? And Chelsea comes through with a one-liner saying she doesn't even know what Prince Harry looks like.
Prince Harry. I hope I really don't sound ignorant saying this, but I don't know what Prince Harry looks like.
He's just in the khakis and the white shirt.
Khakis. Oh, that's cute. I love that.
I love a man in
I already love him already.
I didn't tell you, not that anybody asked, but my favorite girls would obviously be, right off the bat, the ones that did not care about this man. Whoever he was, they did not care. So Chelsea, of course, is why, and I mean, beyond her saying that she's off her rocker, is why she's my number one, like top fan immediately. Other two girls that I liked would be Kim, just because she really, she was just withdrawn from the get-go and wasn't really like giving in as much as the other girls. She's kind of mysterious girl from the start, and then it was Leah. Leah, truly, I don't know why Leah applied for that show, but legend. Sorry, legend. Absolute fucking legend. She gave me nothing to work with, and I love her and respect her for that. Cool. So they're speculating, right? Is it the Queen? Is it the President? Is it Michael Jackson? Who's gonna break it to these girls? Who is going to break it to these girls?
Secret Service. The Queen, the President.
This is the coolest thing ever.
Michael Jackson.
That's how episode 1 opens up. The girls are at the estate, they're trying to figure out, check for the clues, who they're about to meet. Cut to this fucking specimen, who is by AI compared to Prince Harry. Nobody sees it, it's all great. He describes himself as good-hearted. Sure. We find out that he clears up oil spills and that he is here to convince them that he is a prince, but the goal is for them to like him for who he is, the muffin.
So I've got this table laid out in front of you here. What does all this do? What are all these pieces of cutlery? Tell me.
There's a shot glass.
A what?
A shot glass? No.
He must learn to fence.
How do you wear these? I've got a massive front wedgie on these.
The cartridge is in.
Shoot ski.
Miss.
We've got a very short amount of time to make you into a world-class polo playing prince, so let's just jump on, try and put your foot in the saddle, in the stirrup.
And how to play polo.
Whoa. Find the tree, find the tree.
My bum hurts.
We are then succumbed to 8 minutes summary of what Matt had gone through for a week, of him learning how to fence, why he never fences beyond this point on the show, of him learning what his star sign is, which truly important girls would care about that. Hey. He learns what a shot glass is. He's also referred to, probably for legal reasons, as not really Prince Harry every time his fucking mug shows on the screen. And it's kind of iconic. Also, it's giving like me editing an iMovie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, why was this not just produced by like a local kid? How was this produced by Ryan Seacrest? It's just, it's beyond me. Anyways, the episode 1 continues with a masquerade ball. So one of them, whoever he chooses based off of literally first impressions, is to win to go to a suit adjacent to Harry, and one will be eliminated straight away. They have seen Matt's face before this masquerade ball, but it was from far away, so the production just dropped him in a helicopter just for the dramatic effect, and then they left the girls, after that big arrival, to speculate for hours on who this person might be. Then they have some fire dancing, the weirdest entrance. We're just going to smoothly speed up through what could have been truly 60 seconds of this whole masquerade ball.
Never actually explicitly told that you're Prince Harry, right? Can you kind of talk about how they come up with that on their own?
The premise is 12 American girls are sent to the UK. They know they're taking part in a dating show, and they have no idea who they're meeting though. They're told they're going to meet an eligible bachelor. Flown to the UK, they're put up in this really fancy English estate.
So not your apartment.
Not my place, no. And, you know, they get all the royal treatment there. They're driven around in Rolls Royces. They've got staff, butlers, chefs, servants, like that, everything you can imagine. And then they're there for a few days speculating who the bachelor could be. And I turn up on a helicopter, and their first image of me, they're sat having an afternoon tea on this terrace. They see this helicopter land a few hundred yards away. And I step out with security, and they see me for about a minute, if that. And then they're left for 3 or 4 hours that afternoon, where, you know, they start gossiping. The name Prince Harry comes up. Some of them are like, that looked a lot like him. Others like, no way, it can't be. And it just goes from there. So they're left to speculate. I meet them for the first time at a masquerade ball, so there's a bit more mystery added to it.
So I understand you had to go through quite a bit of Prince Harry training, though, just to answer the things that would be brought up that you were allowed to speak of. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in any date situation, you have to, you know, you need something to talk about, to engage them with, and I couldn't talk about myself or my past experiences, so in the run-up to meeting the girls, I had to learn everything about Harry. So, I mean, from, you know, his early schooling to Eton to his military career, past scandals, ex-girlfriends, how to play polo, etiquette lessons, like anything and everything there is to know about Harry. So when I was, you know, dating these girls, and they're inquisitive, they want to find out, you know, who is this guy they're getting to know, I have to be able to almost persuade them, or just come up with answers that sow a seed of doubt in their mind and let them think and come to their own conclusions.
He dances with all of them, fast forward, he dances with Leah. And Leah kind of backs down after the dance, I'm not sure why. Is she intimidated by the other girls? But he does not take this well. Like,
Myself. How are you with a spin, if I twirl you?
Oh, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so if we go back there.
Oh.
Ooh. Was that me or you?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think with that we should probably give you another lady to dance with, because I'm just...
You're going to stop already?
I feel like I'm just messing it up right now.
Leah didn't look like she was having that much fun, which was a shame. I mean, this is an exciting first night.
He gives response of how dare she. It's an exciting first night for whom? Not for anybody watching, not for anybody witnessing this. Like, this is why they're showing the bare minimum. Like, they show the best bits on these shows, right? And these were that you dancing mediocre style with these girls. For whom? For whom is this an exciting night? As the night goes along, the cattiness really comes out. Maggie is called out for being an alcoholic, like 30 minutes into episode 1. They have already made up their mind and just branded this girl for the remainder of the season. The unmasking happens at midnight because Cinderella, of course, is famously British. The girls do it first, and then he does it, and immediately all of them conclude it's him. It's Prince Harry.
There are a lot of girls in the house who are not princess material. Maggie drinks a lot, and that's not royal. Give me that.
Because nothing seems to excite her, according to Not Harry, Leah goes home and Rose gets the keys to the suit. This is when I knew I can't trust this man with anything. Like, I wouldn't let him boil an egg. I just wouldn't. Like, how can you trust this man with any decision making? I put in the script, this is when Maya, not when he accepted to lie for reality television, like the worst concept of all to lie for. It's not for like a noble cause, for such a noble guy. He's lying for reality TV. Rose sneaks in to tell the girls that she is the chosen one, and all of them are suddenly siding with Leah, who they were shitting on, and her clothes and everything. And guess who has the strangest reaction to all of this? Megan coming through with a one-liner.
I guess, he wanted to spend a little more time with me tonight. The way Rose comes into the room tonight, it's just so fake. She's so happy that she's getting to go in the crown seat. I'd like to thank the Academy and my parents. Like, come on.
Something that struck me so strange when it comes to the production, to wrap up the episode 1, because I immediately noticed it, the girls, whenever they leave, I don't know who then goes and packs up their suitcase and stuff, because we are just shown that they enter a cab and they depart. They never actually are told when they left the show that this wasn't Prince Harry to begin with. So I don't really know, and I couldn't find it in the interviews, like when do they actually find out? Like, do they immediately go and Google it? Who brings them their stuff? Like, where are they sent afterwards? Just hostage situation, actual hostages, actual victims. Episode 2 starts off with a date. So Rose goes on a date, she's a chosen one, and she has a date on a helicopter. Now Annalisa is not upset about this date because Rose is boarding a plane with her future husband. So there's just, no, she's competitive, she knows this is just nothing. This is just what happens for the show, and later he marries her. Megan has a bit of a different reaction. She wishes that Rose got airsick on a helicopter.
It's okay, I've been on a helicopter before. Some people get very airsick on helicopters. Are you implying? I'm not saying it's wishful thinking. I'm just stating a fact. I just wouldn't be that upset.
Megan wants us all dead. Where this date with Rose proceeds to go made me laugh so hard. I just cannot express why. It was one of the funniest moments on this show, because he asks her if someone ever treated her like this before, while she genuinely looks like she's headed through the woods to the beach. Like, what do you mean, did anybody treat you like this before? It's such a wrong moment to ask that question. Like, even if scripted, it just genuinely looks like she is being held hostage and pushed towards this unknown location on the beach.
So is this like any date you've been on before?
You know what? No, not even close.
No? You haven't been treated properly before.
Well, thank you. This is definitely the royal treatment.
During the date, baffling production strategy, the girls are just left to their own devices by the pool. They are just entertaining themselves. Rose then comes back, and as I mentioned, the formula continues. She shares her knowledge that his security is not for show, that he is definitely somebody important. At that very moment, when all of the girls are gathered up, this scene plays out. Liam Neeson has been real quiet ever since. I'm just gonna say that.
To keep the royal ruse in play, some mischief is afoot.
What happened? And all of a sudden, you hear all like the gravel flying everywhere. The security guard runs out of the car. What? Freaking Secret Service.
Can you imagine we'll come now, right now, please. See you later. Go.
Throughout this process, there'll be a few instances thrown in the mix that will keep them gossiping about whether or not I am Prince Harry.
This man is so proud of this ruse. He loves how this is playing out for him right now. Because all of these episodes are literally like multiple days all joined together in such a way where it's so bloody annoying and it makes no sense in terms of any sort of timeline, in terms of any plotline, any story. They now go to play cricket. Because remember how I said like yes, for a couple of episodes they're gonna have like British themed challenges. And then they stop thinking of any British things, they have had their list and they ran out of options. Look at this screenshot of these girls heading to this cricket challenge and tell me this doesn't look like a social experiment. Not all of them would be playing cricket. This is why you see some of them in actual long dresses, because some of them are tea ladies. I know no one is asking, but this would be the moment when I would leave this show voluntarily. I mean, if nothing so far would have convinced me to go, this would have been it. Every reality show that embarrasses girls to this degree, electric chair. I will shave your head. I will, you don't have to pay me, I will shave your head.
Crime.
Harry, however, being poor himself, has an eye out for the tea girl. He's gonna get a grace and decorum horn for this one, purely because he keeps mentioning this, how just heartbreaking it is that he's deceiving all these girls while proceeding to deceive them every 2 minutes of every episode. No, just no, shut it, don't even show any guilt, don't care.
My greatest fear is the girls fall entirely for the whole scenario, and then when it's revealed I'm not from wealth or status, they'll just turn around and have no interest.
There's a formal dinner and this time he attends, so the girls are not just left to themselves, and this man who genuinely was looking at the cutlery and saying like, oh, that's a shot glass, like 5 minutes ago, is now judging these girls and how they're eating. It's just violence sometimes is necessary. He has to make decisions again, and if by now you didn't get this, he is going for somebody that fully believes in this sham. He is Prince Harry, fully not giving a fuck about any other perimeter.
Rose has been on good form tonight.
Do you still fancy her, sir?
Rose is lovely. I'm still quite a fan of Rose. She definitely believes I'm Prince Harry.
Oh, well done.
He chooses Andrea and Kimberly, and yeah, one of them is going home, the other one is going to go into the suit. And this suit, by this point, is made for a girl. I don't know how else to describe it, but this suit irked me. It was just, every time they would show the suit that the girl would be in, it pissed me off, because like Princess Charlotte would have loved it, like an actual child would have loved this. This is made for a child in mind, not an actual grown-ass woman. Anyways, he speaks with Andrea and he tells her he doesn't have vibes and connection and drops her, which I found so endearing, so royal of him to say vibes.
Any particular vibes or connection?
There's this moment of Rose exchanging keys with Kimberly that is just so weird. Everything is just designed for these girls to hate each other's guts. Meanwhile, still at the dinner table, these girls are getting wasted. And Maggie is, of course, accused of drinking too much. Megan is in her bully mode.
I think Stevie Wonder could see that Maggie knocks back the red wine a little too aggressively. I'm so dead.
Shut up. I said one stupid comment.
No, not Maggie, not one.
What does that mean?
You obviously don't know your alcohol tolerance. You drink more than... tried to. Maggie, slow down. Maggie, slow down. Maggie, eat more.
Whatever.
And then you're being a bitch again. We tried to...
I'm being a bitch again.
Someone hold her hand going up the stairs.
Shut up. Like, honestly.
The argument now moves on from the dinner table towards the suits, and obviously he is in his own suit after just having eliminated the girl and is listening in. Remember how I said, right? The girls would say that they would be manipulated as they would hear the whispers outside of their rooms, and that is never shown. But how he makes decisions and what he hears is. Jacqueline is the only one in Maddie's corner and she faces the bullies, which leads us to a scene that simply cannot be described in words.
I think you girls are the mean girls. Don't you dare call me a mean girl, bitch. Are you? Like, your head is launched so far up your ass. I could eat alphabet soup and something out that made more sense than what you're saying right now. I think Jackie is not princess material. You need to sit down, have a little kumbaya moment with yourself tonight. Because it sounds like everything you're having an issue with is with Jacqueline.
I love the logic of getting called mean, only to then proceed to prove that you're not mean by doing the meanest possible thing that you can do. That wraps episode 2. Episode 3. Kimberly is going on a date in a hot air balloon, okay? I'm just gonna play silly Billy thing here because of what this hot air balloon looks like.
I've never seen a hot air balloon before. It's like a unicorn to me.
Truly, they asked these women, like, did a man do anything nice for you ever? They said no, and that was the only prerequisite for this show. They just green-lighted and were casted, because all of them had such horrible dates, just absolutely have been decimated by men before and are now impressed by virtually anything that this man had done. At the house, though, Jackie is facing the mean girls again, with Megan eavesdropping by the door. It is just so cringe. It is so cringe. Like, that nobody is seeing any sense in how this scene plays out.
So, like, with you, like, and Lisa, like, my issues aren't really more with you. They're definitely with Megan. I get a weird vibe from her, and she reminds me of girls from home that I don't get along with. Yeah. So, like, now we have the girls that are and talk to her.
Don't worry, it'll be good. We're grown women.
This bitch! Do you mind talking? I heard a bit of it, so yeah.
Megan was right outside the door hearing everything that I had to say. So, she is ready for war.
You make me uncomfortable.
I really do feel like you're just constantly judging. And like,
well, when you're making an ass out of yourself like you kind of were last night, of course I'm going to be judging you.
Jackie is not princess material. She's Jackie, and that's not royal.
Kim and not Harry move from the balloon to some park again with a hammock. It's just very royal of him to bring her here in the middle of nowhere for another date. However, the security is there, and this is when paparazzi strike in this middle of nowhere location with a hammock, as they're just like sipping on some Prosecco. Of course, it is another ruse, and it is done so that when Kim goes back, she tells the girls everything about this, and they're convinced this is truly the prince, because they're victims. They're being brainwashed by these production teams.
Stop, don't give me excited. I'm freaking out. I mean, I have no idea what's going on at this point.
Some app guy. Some guy trying to take photos.
He's obviously someone that people know really well. It wouldn't surprise me if he is Prince Harry, and I'm going to be in a magazine, Scandalous Girl in the Woods with Prince Harry.
Kim proceeds in a way that sounds very much like she was fed lines and this was very much scripted, to call out the girls for the drama last night.
I was missing all the fun and action.
Oh, girl, I don't know if that's an understatement. There was no fun.
I don't really have too much in common with the girls. The fact that I'm intelligent sets me apart. I'm pursuing an education in cell and molecular biology. And so I don't like cattiness at all.
It got bad last night. It got really bad last night. It was cuckoo bananas.
Two sidelines here. First one, you can see a clear divide of the girls who are in a clique, who are like, we are here to stir shit up, and the girls who just do not care, like Carly, although also Carly, must be noted, her whole personality is just about the degree that she is doing. Second sideline, let us just for a second assess how they're set here. Who thought of that? It looks like Mad Hatter, like Alice in Wonderland type scenario. The comment really writes itself on this show, and in the most illogical ways, because this required more camera work, just more angles, more anything. They're all sitting and like chatting with each other from these different tables. Anyways, next up they go rowing. Same episode, they just go rowing. Finally, these girls are getting some screen time, and not Harry chose to go rowing with Jacqueline, Maggie, and Kelly because they haven't stood out to him. His words, not mine. Maggie shines for seeing through him not being able to row this boat, because this man has clearly not been taught some skills. He has been taught how to fence for no reason, however nobody taught him how to row the boat. Not very royal, but they all kind of make comments how he isn't perfect, that's all sweet, like they get swept away because he said he's a sucker for rom-coms, like the Notebook, and they were all like, oh my god, you like the Notebook. Girls, we were getting somewhere. Girls, we were getting somewhere for a second, and then you heard of Nicholas Sparks and you lost your fucking plot.
He is not the love of your life. He is literally just a guy. Hit him with your car.
Also, he slips up, and nobody fucking talks about this online. During this picnic, he says that his brother is 3.5 years older than him. I mean, yes, the man did have like 8 minutes of debrief, right? But no one mentions it. William is only 2 years older than him, and nobody corrects him. They just have heard Notebook and have swiftly moved on with that whole conversation.
Can't beat a weekend out with the family.
How much older is your brother than you?
3.5 years.
Do you hang out with him a lot, or are you more, have you ever
Sometimes
groups of friends?
he's settled down now, so...
Oh, he has a wife?
He's busy.
He has a date with Kelly, and this moment stands out as she tries to impress this man.
You don't feel safe about
I
this?
got it. Wait, this.
Are you sure? Absolutely. Are you okay?
What we are supposed to believe is a day, right? Although we know how production works, we know that this was a couple of days just joining an episode. But it started off with a date, then with whole paparazzi shenanigans, then with a picnic and the whole boat situation. And now the next thing on the list here is a pool party. Okay, this gets a Silly Billy award, right? Because the prince, logically so, organizes a pool party, and he does this in order to turn up in the outfit that Prince Harry wore in Vegas during his party days. Nobody, not a single girl would acknowledge this, and I genuinely thought like the production team thought this was going to carry much more weight than it actually did, because nobody mentions this. These girls are just happy to be drinking, especially the editing of this part of the episode is legendary, because Maggie is making friends with the bartenders like the icon that she is.
Nice to meet you guys. I always like to make friends with the bartenders.
This editing happens, and I feel for the editors of this show, because they have had to go through hours and hours of footage trying to find something even remotely bloody interesting. They must have been high off their tits.
These girls would be out of my league, and so I think I've walked straight into heaven.
He makes the girls do limbo, and then he says to make a genuine connection, he is now going to proceed to bring these girls into a hot tub.
And I'm like, cut the BS, cut the small talk, babe. Plant went on me. It's nice to finally get to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better.
What do you like on a first date regarding a kiss goodbye?
That's okay.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad kisser either.
Why, thank you. One of my many talents.
One of the many?
Uh-huh. If this guy is Harry, then my babe is Prince Harry, and I just made out with Prince Harry.
I liked Maggie during the first couple of episodes because she's just outright jealous. She's not hiding her emotions. She does commit a couple of criminal offenses that cannot be justified later on. However, at this moment in time, you know what? They need somebody. They need somebody for the screen time, and Maggie is giving them that. She's giving them entertainment. He chooses now between Karina and Carly, and the shocker, Carly leaves because she wasn't giving him much, and she is to focus further on her education. This is where the true personalities of some people really show up, because Kimberly is genuinely psyched for Karina to take over the suit. And it also made me think, at what point do they return the chosen girl to the suit after dinner to like do the keys handover? Like, how awkward. Nobody really thought of how to actually produce this in any normal fucking way. This episode will end with mocking of Maggie, which I did not appreciate. Was catty, was just below the belt. And also Megan acknowledging, though, that Karina is indeed princess material, and she finally has some competition.
Maggie's passed out again.
You kissed the guy that I like. I mean, I love you. You're my friend, but I'm just...
Because I kissed your boyfriend. Karina! I told you as you were walking out.
So happy. Karina comes in and like, she's like glowing.
I'm so happy.
It's hard because it's like, I want to date with Prince Harry.
Kimberly showed me the call scene and initiated me in. Yeah.
If anyone is competition in the house for me, it's Karina. I think Karina is princess material. So that puts a little competition into the mix.
You're gonna have fun tomorrow. What are you gonna do?
The competition's crazy. And I really need to step my game up. I want a man. I want a Prince Charming, period.
Episode 4 deserves right off the bat, for the whole episode, major secret ingredient is crime horn, just for genuine crimes against humanity that have been committed throughout this whole fucking sequence of events. The morning will proceed with a typical formula. However, this time around, they are in his suit. So Karina and him have a date, they have breakfast, and the production team here had photoshopped a picture of him and his brother William, and they have just placed it there so that Karina notices it. It's so on the nose, like every time there is a date, there is a clue, and then Karina, of course, goes to the girls, tells them about it, and they're like, oh my god, I mean, it must be him, like, otherwise why would there be an actual picture of this man and his brother? And that is on production, yet again. Cannot victim blame, can absolutely not victim blame. Like, why the hell did you do the photoshopping? For what is any of this happening? From this moment on in this episode, the logic had just left the production room. We just start raging.
I need a girl who doesn't mind getting her hands dirty. I'm clearly not a prince in real life. I need someone who doesn't mind doing the hard work.
The ladies who will be riding horses are Chelsea, Maggie.
I would never think that in my wildest dreams I'd be dating Prince Harry. Like, this is crazy.
Riders, please get changed over there. The rest of you, into your overalls.
Feeding into this man's ego. He's just looking at them from this estate like he's Joe Goldberg. Go to these stables for him. Like, for a mediocre white man who isn't even royalty. Like, as if Prince Harry would be like, oh no, I'm totally on board of these girls. Go to the stables while I go on a date with two of them. Oh my god. That is truly what happens. It's Chelsea's time to shine. Chelsea asks him a very legitimate question, setting really the scene for the rest of the episode. She asks him if he would date a black girl.
I haven't, no.
You haven't? Would you?
Colour doesn't come into it at all.
Very, very understandable.
I like Chelsea's character. She is extremely upfront, very down to earth. If people don't like that, they can deal with it. That's a really good character trait to have.
He gives a politically correct response, and now they all sit down in the midst of some hay to have a date. Maggie, him, and Chelsea. And Maggie expresses her love for beer, to which Chelsea kind of says like, oh, we know, Maggie, we know. And Maggie loses her absolute shit.
You're a natural.
Ah, brother. I'll be funny. Love some beer. Asked for.
Now a few some beer or some cider.
I would love some beer. Yeah, I would love it. We know, Maggie. We know. That wasn't nice. I'm just joking. You're really funny, though. Ah, brother. Oh, we know, Maggie. You love your beer. And I just want to be like, are you kidding me? Like, don't say that to me in front of him. I'm not that crazy, you guys. And now you are. It was a dirty little trick to, like, throw me under the bus, and it really pisses me off. I mean, I like to have fun. Who doesn't?
This is why I took you out today, because I wanted to see... I've seen your wild side. And I wanted to see what you were
What
like.
else? Yeah.
Out of your comfort zone, perhaps.
It wasn't working.
As this date is happening, Kelly is bossing these girls around at the stables. And at this point, I don't know if anybody is noticing, but Kelly and Maggie have genuinely fallen victims to this predator. They are in love. For them, this is not the game anymore. And this is where I would have genuinely sent the producers to the gallows. You can't do this and mentally fuck up somebody like this. Back to Downton Abbey. The girls are briefed on what's happening during the date, and guess who is enjoying the breakdown of the events for the day?
I don't give a damn. Simple as that. Stop it. From walking out of too sensitive. The argument basically continued from walking out of dinner, walking up the stairs. Hold on, pump your brakes. You don't have to be my homegirl. It has nothing to do with we have to build a bond and be blood sisters. I don't give a damn. Simple as that. Stop rolling your eyes because I'm trying to... Stop clapping your hands at me then. Like, you're going to clap your hands and say, pump your brakes. Because you're talking about stupid...
Aren't we here for Prince Harry? I mean, can't he know that there's like monstrous fights happening when we should all solely be focused on him?
You so caught up in your emotions. So are you, obviously. I'm not. Well, then let's just leave it as that.
The argument continues up the stairs. They're again strategically arguing in front of this man's suit. However, what nobody's talking about when it comes to the production and how this was edited, remember the stables. So Karina was the suit girl. However, she was not the one on a date with him because he's assessing chemistry with Maggie and Chelsea. So she's just awkwardly entertaining herself and walking around as the others were cleaning these stables. Because of course she can't clean the stables, but also she's not on a date with him. Please tell me what was the logic. What was the point of anything? There was no forefoot. Let's just not give this girl something to do while the whole day goes by. She will get her date, which I think everything here happens now on a completely different day because it's still daytime. And Karina is on a boat with this guy, they're kissing, it's a great date. However, of course, there's another ruse because it's a date. Formula, it's a ruse. And they see these girls on the bridge screaming, Harry, we love you, Harry. The production team, actual blood on their hands, actual blood on their hands.
It really is like a dream. No. It's for me, I know.
I think it was for you.
Everyone knows
I think it was.
who I am here.
They were shouting, Harry, Harry, from the bridge. I think she was convinced. Definitely for you.
It's all for me.
Karina will eventually, of course, return from the date and recap this to the girls. However, while she was on a date with him, the situation at the estate was tense. We got the split now, so the quote-unquote mean girls and then Jackie on the side of everybody who isn't in that batch, Chelsea in this case.
I'm bored now. You're bored? I'm sorry we're boring you. I would never say that. Chelsea, do you hate us? No. I just feel like you guys aren't going to understand what I'm saying, so there's no point in even talking about it.
my situation with you,
As long as I'm...
don't interrupt me when I'm speaking.
I don't care to talk about it
So
then.
when I'm in the
I don't care to talk about it then.
That's very rude. She's trying to make a point. We let you make your point. Let her speak. That is rude. I just feel like it's immature.
If you guys don't shut up, I don't care what you guys say.
Excuse me? Excuse me? You need to, like, stop with your attitude.
No.
I'm sorry, I need to what?
Maggie and Annalisa are being bullies and acting like the mean girls now. They're more or less upset that Chelsea hasn't made any efforts to become their friend. And the truth be told is, Chelsea just doesn't care. These are not her friends.
Don't talk about it.
Okay.
Because you can shut the up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you can do.
This is what they do. They talk and they say, we're not the mean girls. We don't double team. Bitch, yes, you do. I'm to the point where I'm irritated and I'm over the edge.
The evening comes and Chelsea is kind of into Tiffany from Big Brother in that meme mood, just sitting on the bed, not interacting with anybody. And why would she? Why would she? They're bitching on her as she's literally just trying to isolate herself and distance herself from the whole situation. Karina is pulled away from dinner, she goes into the suite, they have a little date, like a little kissy session. It seems like the two of them like each other, there's chemistry there, he really fucking likes this girl and he will continue to like this girl throughout this whole season. Cut to the next day. Chelsea's sitting on the bench by herself and she will basically tell the prince that she decided to leave the show. She is actually very classy and respectful. I would not have been during this interaction, and this is when actual red boiling blood on the production team and their hands, because they push the only black girl to leave this show, to leave the series. Why? For what reason? When Chelsea tells the girls about her decision, there's this moment where Kelly kind of tells her like, oh, I wish you well, and it reminded me of that Cardi B moment, I wish you well in hell. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Any way that you see it, it just looks wrong.
My anger turns into rage because I feel like people are against me and I'm going to react in a way that's going to blow everybody away, and I don't want that.
Don't just give up and leave.
We hate to see you go, but, like, I wish you well.
In hell.
I really...
Burn in hell.
This is where I personally kind of made up my mind on some of these contestants, because I think two things can be true. In one way, the production team, yes, is fully responsible of how these girls are portrayed, how they're made to react, how they're shaping what's shown on camera. However, also then, at the same time, we see some of the personalities of these girls through what is actually shown, what is actually on camera. And also, when it comes to the actual girls, you can, or like you rather don't have to become best friends with either of these girls, and also you don't have to throw them under a bus for a man. I'm just gonna say that, and that's the saga on Chelsea finished. Because the charade is up for one girl. Annalisa actually is not falling for the charade, the sham, that this man in front of them is Prince Harry anymore. And he is scrambling here. He is actually trying his very best to give like some sort of answers and save his own ass.
All the time, because there's a lot of charities and patronages that they require presence at, and some of them, they're really fun to go to. I don't think she is falling for the Prince Harry charade at all. I may not be able to hold up the facade much longer. I'm up for anything.
Okay.
I'm completely overwhelmed.
The editing mess continues because they have this hot tub truth or dare that proceeds, out of which they literally show like a couple of seconds of this dare. And I'm just thinking, okay, if they have organized this whole thing and are showing like maybe a minute of it, like how exhilarating this must have been to shoot and then edit and be like, wow, we can't really use any of this. So we're just gonna use this one clip where Megan and him, according to Megan and Megan only, are having eye sex.
He's eye humping me. We're having great, steamy, hot eye sex. And there's a little footsie action going on under the bubbles. Babe's totally telling me that I'm his favorite girl.
We go back to the dinner table and the question up in the air is one girl still going home? Obviously, the formula must continue. Annalisa goes home. Why? Why does she go home? The shocker, is it maybe because of the conversation that she had with him where she was doubtful about his actual identity?
I'm so happy for you. Homegirl is sick, dirty, nasty, madly in love.
Bye-bye.
And she hasn't even kissed him.
This is the best time of Kelly's life.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I could really be the perfect princess, wife, girlfriend, everything he's looking for if he just continues to give me a chance.
Episode 5 starts off, just a teaser of it all is the shocking announcement by Kingsley.
And tonight, a shocking announcement. Sir is indeed His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales.
Oh my god!
He is His Royal Highness. May the gaslighting escalate. But here is where we have some inside info, right? Everything was shot, it was all edited and then broadcast. However, even before this reveal, after 4 episodes, Fox pulled this from broadcasting this on TV, and the remainder of the episodes, so this one, and then like 6, 7, and 8, were only available online in the US. You could watch them, I think, in Latin America on E, here in the UK on ITV2 channel, they did still broadcast all 8, but after episode 4, the US decided this was not getting any views. They just pulled it off air, which I just find so amusing that like even before this shocking twist that was to change everything, change nothing, because they already believed that this was Prince Harry, this show stood no chances. So we have 7 girls left. All of the British pretenses here with this episode stop, and from this point on, everything they do is very American. Starting off now with Kelly going on date with Prince Harry.
Yeah, something I don't know.
Actually, as a child, I had leukemia.
Really?
And so I'm a 16-year cancer survivor.
Wow.
And probably the reason I am the way I am.
Live every moment as it is.
Yep. Whenever you bring up some illness, you know, the automatic thing for a normal person to be is like, oh, I'm sorry. But really is what shaped me. Have you had anyone in your family that has gone through anything like that?
No, not really. We've been really lucky. I'm very surprised. But I think that's the reason why she's got that positive outlook on life that probably came from her childhood struggles. So no, I wouldn't know how to deal with that or anything on that sort of scale. I don't think she minds about everything that comes with the status and the title. I think she just wants to get to know a genuine guy. It's people like you that inspire me, really, that not just to have had it and come through it, but to have done something after it for other people.
He decides to show her his real side while still very much lying to her, so he takes her out to this American diner. Of course, people there ask him for a picture, and Kelly is the one to take a picture, which kind of demeaning, I'm not gonna lie, but it all plays into this, like, oh, he must be someone of importance, and then she has to go back and report this to the girls. There's this moment in the diner where Kelly opens up about her being a cancer survivor. And I just truly don't care how stuck in this production you are at this moment to continue to lie to this woman even after this, just to continue to deceive her.
And yet, here I am deceiving her. It is definitely a lot harder telling lies to Kelly. It's really tough.
He did feel guilty, he did say that he felt guilty, but still, didn't really do much. Didn't stop the production of it, didn't tell her anything really, didn't really open up to her or tell her that this is all a scam. No, he just proceeds to lie to her. The rest of this episode is just insane because they are preparing a pageant show for a prince. for a prince of the UK. Please just watch this, because silliness is unreal. To think an actual prince would love the rhymes, the cheerleading, the comedy show, like the stand-up show. And also, may I preface, right, before this is when the girls learned from Kingsley that he is Prince Harry of Wales. So this enforced added pressure on them, but yet this is the pageant show.
The girls pull out all the stops to impress our pretend prince.
I'm nervous because it's Prince Harry. Kelly's the total dork.
Honestly, assessing all of this silliness, Rose and Karina would have won my vote. Just purely because they at least try to involve him. Like, that's the whole point of these challenges, get this man involved. So Rose does like CPR on him, you know, gets even a cheeky kiss, all of that, and then Karina dances for him and kind of like gives him a little bit of a lap dance, but no, he's just there, he's present at least. Where this then proceeds, for whatever reason, I have done such weird Google searches during this. They show up in their bikinis, and he, based off of those two performances, the second one isn't a performance, it's just how they look in a bikini, okay? He chooses Miss Deerfield pageant, and this person, the person that he chose, was Jacqueline. Side goog here, side goog. What the fuck is Miss Deerfield? I have searched for this for the embarrassing amount of time. I think this is an American thing based off of a very few Google searches. It happens in New England, so not England, like Massachusetts, like the US. Nowhere near UK, but also for my brief research here, this wasn't even taking place in 2013. I don't know, it's like the winners are winning some scholarships, and yeah, they have these sashes, but it's for high schools, it's for juniors and seniors. Everything about this episode is truly insane. Please somebody correct me if I'm missing something from the British culture, the American culture, whichever culture, if I'm missing like a very important event that I should be aware about called Miss Deerfield pageant show. Please let me know. So, all over the place. This again must have been shot and edited over weeks. We have a date, right? We have a pageant show. Then they're looking for Harry in a mansion like he's Waldo. And this leads to some flirty moments between Meghan and Harry, and Kelly losing her mind over that.
Later. See you later, alligator. It's been a tricky situation. I mean, I'm having all this fun, but every day I'm having to lie and put up a facade. See you later. And it's only going to get harder, but I think it will hopefully be worth it.
Anytime I can, cop a little feel of babe's booty, I will. It's a good one.
You got some little action over there. I saw you tapping some ass.
Yeah, we were doing our little hand holding thing.
next time.
Girls, there's a difference between looking at someone and eye sex. He has eye sex with me. He looks at you.
I'm kidding, I didn't mean it. I'm kidding! You just gave me the dirtiest look in the world.
It doesn't matter what button she pushes or how many times she holds his hands and eye sexes Prince Charming. I don't care, because you're actually fake and a skank and you can get out the door.
Kidding. Didn't mean it. Didn't touch it. Didn't come near it. She's like, fine.
To wrap this episode up, the producers have organized an American-style carnival, leading to yet another epic slow-mo edit.
The whole situation. I was being treated like royalty, with 12 girls vying for my attention. But now, the lying is really getting me down. It's a conflicting time, because I ultimately want to find a girl who will like me for being me, without all the trappings of Prince Harry.
After this, of course, because the whole day was American, they have American dinner, they have burger and fries, and Harry is ready to speak to Meghan and Maggie. You guessed it, Maggie leaves, and Meghan is given another chance because fake Harry wants to see a more humble side to her. I want to see Jesus walk on water, but we are all a bit delusional here, fake Harry. Also, he says something like, I'm finding it really hard to distinguish who these girls are falling for. Sir, you chose this for yourself. At least you had a say in a matter to a degree. Like, what do you mean who they're falling for? You are lying to them.
I walk into the room and they all just kind of sit there.
Oh, congratulations.
And the girls are very cold and icy to me, which I think is strange because 30 minutes ago we just cheers to being besties.
Go after your man.
Whoa!
Bye. Megan came in for us to like relish and congratulate her. And I call her a beast because she is a beast. I can't hold it back anymore, and I'm really pissed she's in the crown suite. Let me get my key. But now I have to give her the crown suite key, which I'm not happy about because she's a fake bitch. Alrighty, I'm passing off the torch.
I can tell that some tension with Kelly has been brewing. She looks like she's in the middle of a brain aneurysm and a heart attack and her pants all at the same time. She's very jealous of what Babe and I have.
What Megan doesn't know at this moment in time is that she has a target on her back.
I really have to do something because I can't tolerate or handle him to even look her way, let alone have a word with her anymore. I'm gonna do something about this.
Kelly here is giving me, at the age of 15, when I bought a burner phone to tell my crush via text message from an unknown number that his girlfriend was cheating on him, because she was, as she should. Because he was a piece of shit. I don't know why it's such a psychotic moment. But then I went to sleep and then I got rid of the evidence in the morning. By that I mean I actually threw the battery in one bin somewhere on the way to school and then the phone in another bin. My mom condoned this behavior, let's just say that, okay? She was fully on board. She didn't know what I was doing with it. She's like, burner phone sounds great. What are you doing? I will not ask questions. Anyways, it's just like a looming figure over all of their heads. You know when you wake up in the middle of the night and you get freaked out by like a towel? Looking at my own towel. That I get freaked out constantly. That is Kelly at this very moment. And episode 6, Silly Billy intro. I just rolled this tape.
You lazy maggots! Come on, it's me! Why are you still laying there? The phone! Your house starts now! Get out there and get changed!
Oh my god, there's a sergeant running around screaming and blowing a whistle for us to wake up.
This is hell day!
Small question here, with the very limited research that the production teams have done here, do Americans think that to date Harry you have to qualify for British Army? Because the way they describe this, they sell this experience and why they should really try their best here, is that this is what Harry went through with himself. So they have to be prince-worthy. Question mark, moment of silence. Kelly wins the challenge, and the premise is whoever wins will get some fake Harry time. Before that can even happen though, Meghan and Harry's date goes into the evening and Kelly's jealousy takes over.
Prince Harry, please tell me, do you know who the real Megan is? Because she's not real. Do you actually know how she is as a person?
I'm getting there.
Like how she is towards other people besides you?
No.
She actually is like really crude and mean. She's the one that started all the brawls that I never told you about, like being attacked by a vulture.
Kelly goes off on a rant. and really lets loose on Meghan.
She is now about to use this chance to spend some time with Harry and fully shit on Meghan. So they have this massage, and it's Mean Girls on Mean Girls. Karma's a relaxing thought. She shits on Meghan all the time. Like, throughout this whole massage, she's just speaking about Meghan. How she is in person, you know, like how she is to you versus how she is behind your back, fake Harry. The date now continues with Kingsley saying they're about to experience the real British culture. Ooh, we're back to British events. What could it be? They are boarding a double-decker bus and going to a pub in 2013, competing in a royal show.
Yeah, I can be a bitch sometimes. Call me a bitch. But don't you dare call me fake. I feel like I am one of the more genuine girls in this house.
Meghan, like, talking about girls to their faces, talking behind their backs, and then also trying to be their friend. You have to understand that, like, sometimes you should shut your mouth. Let the conversations that's happening between other people, like, happen.
And be just a genuine person.
I am being a genuine person.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
If I'm doing something to offend you or hurt your feelings, please tell me because I don't want to.
Okay, this is really awkward. I'm thinking, this is Prince Harry in front of me, and everybody's fighting. I'm staying completely out of this.
You're talking about everybody to their face, behind their back, and, like, it's not nice.
Like, a lot of stuff comes out of my mouth, like, is a joke.
It's a joke, but it's like, I'm really kind of making fun at you.
And that's not how it's intended. Everything's crumbling around me. The girls are lying about me in front of Prince Harry, who I am falling in love with. No one has my back. I'm horrified that Babe is going to believe the lies.
Well, any other questions, or should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
It's really interesting for me to listen to everyone's point of view, and actually, I see the real girls right in front of me. So, lots of decisions going on in my head.
The tension breaks because the paparazzi storm the pub. Of course, they know where Harry is at all times.
Outside, our fake paparazzi arrive at the pub and interrupt the tense lunch.
Oh no, where are you going? Why are paparazzi here? All of a sudden we see flashing lights in the window and there's a bunch of paparazzi taking pictures of us. It must be pretty hard to get some private time when you're Prince Harry.
Who is feeding them this information? I'm just picturing, right, the double-decker. Sorry. Just a double-decker and, like, Daily Mail or somebody getting the news. It's like, hey, he's on a double-decker again. Like, actual royalty. He's on a double-decker again. Heading to a pub. Oh, gosh, I don't know why that made me laugh. But he did. Cool. So they now go to dinner and the tension is continuing at dinner. And then Kingsley comes in. He's like, hey, casino night is prepared for you. Why? We'll never know. However, now, casino night is used by not Harry in order for him to find out what other girls think of Meghan. Very Dan Humphrey. Very Dan Humphrey. He is going through Penn Badgley's stages, from Joy Goldberg on You to Dan Humphrey, and then, like, back and forth, back and forth. He needs that piece of information. Very Gossip Girl of him. Out of the blue is blue now. Not Harry takes Kimberly out of this casino room into a private area. And he starts questioning her and Meghan. She remains respectful. She doesn't snitch on Meghan. And then he tells her how he likes her. And they have some mouth-on-mouth contact. Sir, respectfully, you're a slut. You're a slut. Sir, you're a slut. You just like to make out with girls. You just say it. You don't have to hide it. He then speaks to Meghan, right? And here's her side of the story.
I didn't know if you thought it was completely unfair or if you realised you had been a bit of a bitch in some circumstances.
Yeah, I was
were you aware of all that?
No. I think she should have addressed me about it beforehand. And to do it in front of you, I didn't think that was fair.
And I understand that not everyone can get on
Yeah, and I know I can be an acquired taste sometimes. I'm a big personality. I know that.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? That they just think you are a big personality. And it's quite easy to be misunderstood, I guess.
I'm hoping Babe can focus on the amazing connection we have and not focus on the lies Kelly said.
She says nobody ever faced her, nobody ever raised this before with her. This is truly a missed opportunity, okay, by the production team, editing team, to put a montage of every single time that anybody had faced Megan before. Like, this is such a missed opportunity. I cannot believe that this was not done by the editing team that was clearly fucking high throughout this whole thing. Jackie also dishes out, and if you remember, Jackie was one of the first girls to actually face Megan and to call her out. And she says how if she met someone who isn't a prince, Megan that is, she would be completely indifferent. It's dinner time and Jackie and Kimberly leave the dinner table, and you guessed it, Jackie is asked to leave and Kimberly is in the suit again. However, at dinner, while these girls are, getting eliminated and getting the suit, Megan is losing all of composure. Despite of her being safe, she isn't up for elimination at all.
No, I didn't. In a gracious way, he asked me what's going on in the house, honestly, and I lightly said there had been some arguments, and he chose it upon himself to bring it up at dinner, and that was on him.
Oh, but you did not hold your mouth shut now, did you?
I think you take life too seriously, because
if anyone's taking themselves seriously in the house, it's you.
It's not me.
Is there a crack pipe going around? Because I haven't hit it.
I feel like this is crazed.
I think you are just so disillusioned.
No, I'm not.
Drink the Kool-Aid you're pouring.
The night isn't over yet because Prince Harry... The night isn't over yet because not Harry asks Meghan to go into his chambers, and he asks her to leave the estate. Episode 7 starts with only 4 of them left, so he just dropped 1 out of 2 girls that he, in my personal and humble opinion, had some chemistry with, the second one being Karina. And I hate to admit it, as somebody who really put all of my efforts in high school to fight off and learn everything that there is to learn about the girls like Meghan to survive high school, okay? I hate to say this, however, this show gets so boring from now on. Unbelievably, they have really tried to make this episode and the finale like somewhat interesting, but Meghan carried this show with her one-liners, and I fucking hate to say it, but she did. You kind of know in reality shows like this as well, which is another part why this is so bloody boring of a combination of a show, that if a bachelor chooses a girl twice, she stands more chances than the rest, and Kimberly here has just been chosen to go into the suit. So this episode starts with a trip to a spa for some one-on-one time. There's chemistry with Karina yet again, but the question here that Harry has is, would she like him for who he is? Just that little nugget, like if he tells her like, hey, I'm not actually Prince Harry, is she going to choose him? With this episode, we are kind of stuck in Kellyverse, because Kelly is still around and she is very much intense. Like, she had managed to now kick off Meghan off the show, and she wants her kiss, she wants her prince, she is hardcore pressing, like, for her to get the spot in the finale. Now, Rose, who no one is really sure why she's still there, tells him that she can take royal pressures. And Kimberly would open up on a date about her breakup and then would get a kiss because she still, on the surface at least, believes in this. The episode proceeds with some silly Billy shit. It is 15th of September. It is Harry's birthday, not Matthew's birthday, but Prince Harry is celebrating his birthday with the girls. I don't even know what crime this would qualify under, but in celebration of Sir's birthday, a toga party is thrown. In my opinion, because it's cheap and they have blasted like that through that budget in the first 3 episodes. So they just give these girls some blankets and then like a make-believe headwear and off they go.
In celebration of Sir's birthday,
Oh my gosh.
we have arranged a toga party.
I'm I'm so pumped because I've gone to college toga parties, but I surely have never been to one to the caliber Prince Harry is used to.
Sexy toga party!
So excited, like pumped. Okay. Yeah, how's it going?
Rachel, you were good.
Please welcome the guest of honor, Sir.
Prince Harry is like a Greek god with red hair. So a little different than the Greek gods I've seen, but very cute.
The Roman emperor.
The toga party goes on with these girls kissing this guy blindfolded, and he likes Karina's kiss the best, the shocker, the girl that he kissed 1,000,000 times up until now. He, again, likes the girl, but he's not convinced that she would like him for who he really is. The party ends with Rose figuring out that Matthew slipped up. So they're discussing like, oh my god, you're spending your birthday with us, not your family, not your brother and your friends. And he fucks up and says that his brother William is however many years older, not 2, right? And Rose is like, ooh, I know that this cannot be correct. So she figures it out, right?
How old is William?
He's 30.
That's old.
So you're just 1 year younger.
Oh my goodness, William is 31 and I just said 30. I don't think the girls have noticed, but I can really feel my heart beating.
Are you really close?
We are.
Yeah.
That's good.
We just got that bond.
Something about this is a little bit off. Because I know for a fact Prince William is 2 years older than Prince Harry.
I just want to say I'm really glad I spent my birthday with you guys.
Oh, I think we should cheers to Harry's birthday.
After this, the cockiness of this guy to just thank them for spending his birthday with him, as if he wouldn't fuck over his friends, his actual family, to spend a birthday with a bunch of girls for reality TV. I heard it. No, I actually scratched that. It's believable. I see what I did there. Sherlock Holmes edit by Rose herself proceeds, and it's among my top 5 edits. But he doesn't know that she knows, and she is trying to keep this a secret.
Since the toga party, I've been looking back and piecing things together, and everything seems to be so staged to me.
Why are paparazzi here? I don't know. Where are you going?
We get through this big ordeal at the dinner table, and then suddenly that's when the paparazzi decides to come. And the security guys are kind of strange. They are over the top and kind of fake.
Can you imagine will come now, right now?
My gut instinct is that it's not Prince Harry, and I think we're being lied to about who this guy is. What's going on?
I like him.
Every other girl believes this is Prince Harry without a doubt. And I know I'm not going to tell him, because I know, number 1, they won't believe me, and number 2, it's not my place.
The remainder of the episode is the girls planning their dates. This time, they're the ones to plan the dates. So Kelly goes on a bike ride with him. Kim stands out because she actually brings him bungee jumping, which is a hit. Like, it's playing at his adventurous side. He is breaking it, but he still very much enjoys this. She reveals that she has issues trusting men, and he then proceeds to say that, oh my god, me lying to her might actually be devastating for this woman. Proceeds to lie. Proceeds to just be a dick.
No man is worth the struggle. Every guy is literally just a guy. Steal his credit card info.
Karina and him drink wine, ? I did not understand what this date was about. They're just sitting at the dinner table and drinking something. And he is kind of talking about Kim and that date and how he was breaking it while on a date with Karina. Sus. Rose is trying to play it coy, and she's having a fireplace date. And at this point, she knows that he isn't Prince Harry, but you know, he's deceiving them all. So she understands it's all part of the game and she wants to stay in it. After these days, this episode goes off the rails because Kelly is asked to stay, so is Karina, and so is Kim. And then he goes to the dinner room for a change, and then he tells Rose that she is the one to leave the estate. Now, she here faces him, and he fesses up, or at least that is what we see on camera.
I find it harder to talk to you than the other three girls that are here. And I don't know why that is, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if your head's, like, completely in this, or your heart's completely in it. I get a vibe that, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right.
I think I'm realistic about, you know, who you are and everything, and I really like you, and I really feel like we have a connection, but I think both of us know the truth.
What is the truth? What do you think?
I know you're not Prince Harry.
No, I'm not Prince Harry. That was a lie. I want you to know how hard that was, though, because I felt awful lying to you about it. But did your feelings change? Did anything change within your psyche or the way you felt about me?
I still had the same feelings. I just questioned, who is this guy?
My name is Matt Hicks. I'm really sorry.
Rose was later interviewed, and she had actually said that she had family in the UK, she had some family in England, and she knew right away that the man who they presented to them was not Prince Harry. However, she kind of tried to warn the other girls in a bathroom, and the producers didn't want her doing that. They made it clear that everyone's allowed to think who they think it is, and it's not her place to say. So Rose also said that this confrontation, when she was eliminated, never actually happened. That they kind of cut and edited that in such a way where she did face him before, but they clipped that after her elimination. So as if she faced him then and there, and then he responded in that way. The episode doesn't end there, because Kelly knew Karina had a picture of her ex in her wallet, but is now ready to do something about it.
None of us go in the crown suite.
Not anymore.
Okay. I don't think these girls know exactly who they're dealing with. Karina's still hung up on her ex, and Prince Harry should know that. When it comes down to the wire, I will do anything it takes to get him.
This looming threat of Kelly over the girls brings us to the finale, to the final episode and the 3 last dates that are happening at London landmarks. Silly billiness, silly billiness. Prince, London landmarks. The first one is Kelly, and this is so uncomfortable to watch. This is so uncomfortable to watch because she spills the tea on Karina. The whole date is just this girl telling this man about another woman. He doesn't outright confront Karina while they're on a date, and she just kind of naturally confesses that she's moving on from her previous relationship. Kelly, after this, is pulled for a chat, and his reasoning for eliminating her is just very punchworthy. He made up his mind because she tried to sway his mind on other girls, while he is the main scammer in this whole situation. This leaves Karina and Kimberly in the game, and the twist comes from the narrator halfway through this episode. If the winner, so one of the remaining girls, accepts him for who he actually is once he chooses them, they will win $250,000 to then spread between each other. So we know that, but they don't. For reference, I looked up into the prizes on reality shows. On Survivor, you get the most. You get a meal. Big Brother, you get half a meal. And then Hell's Kitchen, you get the same amount as here. So $250,000. There's this montage with Kim and why he might sway towards her.
What's your past dating experience been like?
It takes me a while to open up.
Who's this girl who's having an absolute ball, doesn't seem that interested in me? I can never tell if you're interested or not.
No, that's it.
No, I think you play it well because I'm intrigued. But I like you.
You do.
She's just caught my eye because she wasn't in my face. She wasn't vying for attention. She was being herself, having fun. Naturally, I was intrigued.
Then 10 minutes before the end of this whole show, there is the montage with Karina and how he says like he can't promise Karina the lifestyle that she wants and how he hasn't made up his mind yet. When, sir? When are you gonna make up your mind? He asks Karina to leave, but he doesn't tell her that he is not Harry. And the production here is just baffling to me because there are no edits, you know, like in these shows it's usually like, ooh, cutting between what he's saying to one girl, then the other girl, and then like the face reveal, the one that he's chosen. No, they have just given this show up, they have just given up on the suspense, at what point and why. Why is it the point that they have realized that this show should be made for whatever fucking reason?
And anxiously awaits Matt's return, hoping she's won his heart.
Hello. Kim is the one I have chosen. She's completely got my heart, but the stakes are still as high as they've ever been. Now I have to tell her that I'm not Prince Harry.
So Karina is dropped and it's like, yay, the winner is Kimberly. Congratulations.
My name is Matthew.
Are you serious right now?
I'm an environmental consultant. I'm not from any status, wealth, or title. Everything else you have seen is the real me, though. There've just been some small fabrication.
My man said small fabrication. Small fabrication.
Sadly, the royal fantasy is finished, and you will be leaving the estate. But I have a surprise for you.
Oh no.
$250,000 will be split between the two of you as you embark on your life together.
What?
The episode ends with a surprise. They're told about the money. And this rubs me the wrong way because why is he the one to get anything? Why is he rewarded for scamming 12 girls by being handed $125,000? How about we give Kim the whole of the reward? Let us just go quickly back in time, right? It is August 2013. There was a girl who realized that the production team was trying to manipulate them and that she wasn't indeed going crazy. Despite of her doubts, she had been brainwashed by the production team to go along with everything in order to keep her sanity, even after seeing the mask of Harry's in one of the souvenir shops in London because the production team brought these girls to date to London. She kept her mouth shut and she won the show, and that girl was Kimberly, which, if true, girl boss, gaslight, love her. She knew for most of the time, she kept her lips tight and she won. According to Kim, once she actually won the show, much to her surprise, she told him that she knew he wasn't the royal, but that part never aired. Very much kind of like Rose and how they put that montage up. The show ends with Kingsley looking over to the Buckingham Palace, and that's it. The end. Let us talk about the aftermath here, about the little stock ruse that I have done. Kim was the one who was interviewed the most. Well, Kim, Meghan, Rose, really, those were the people that gave most interviews afterwards. So after the show, Kim said that she stayed in the UK and then went back to New York. And she said Matt and her were not allowed to speak to each other for about 3 months. that he was a nice guy, but they agreed that he should go on with his life and she should go on with hers. Why did this show happen? If they were not allowed to speak for months, why did it happen? Full stop. But what the fuck? Oh my god, so apparently they kept in touch and like would see each other sometimes, but never in a romantic context. Which, yes, he had chemistry with Karina, not Kimberly. Sure, everybody and Steven Wonder would be able to see that. However, I think his name is Stevie, not Steven, but sure. A few years later, however, Kim witnessed, like most of us, Prince Harry, the actual prince, dating Meghan Markle and then ending up marrying her. And for her, she finally felt validated in some way. Rather vindicated, not really even validated, because here Meghan was an American actress just like Kimberly Birch, and now she married the prince. Matt was turned into a TV personality for a short while. After this, he gave a couple of interviews. He said he was offered more opportunities to work in front of a camera, but he declined them and he just went back to his regular life. He started with his old job and then just moved on from being an environmental consultant. He worked in school, Catholic school. Love it all. I found his LinkedIn. So if we're stalking it is nearby. Oh my god, he's blonde again and he is open to work if anybody wants to hire him. He was a physics teacher. I found that out, so I had to look up his LinkedIn to confirm that for myself. Because people were commenting on like the videos I was watching, like, oh, that's my physics teacher. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to look it up. And yes, he was a physics teacher and then moved on to be transition lead, whatever that be. He also had a girlfriend, or still has. He has his Instagram profile locked, so I don't know who the woman in the picture is. And that's pretty much that on Matthew Haig. I don't have to tell you that this show had absolutely disastrous reviews. It was cancelled while it was airing, and when doing my own stalkeroos, the part that angered me the most was how this show didn't do anything for the girls. Usually, these girls would come from these shows, they would amass a huge following, and that's really what I felt bad about. The contestants just going through embarrassment, major embarrassment on this show, being called the most gullible American women, and branded and shamed through the years, just with no chances at making any sort of career to no fault of their own. As I was reading these articles, right, and these women are branded airheads, the most gullible American women, la variation on a fucking team, it reminded me of that Nikki verse. Nicki Minaj, when she says a bunch of airheads like Kelly Bundy, and how I was so impressed by that, because I was like, how does Nicki Minaj know who Kelly Bundy was from Married with Children? And then I shared that with my friend, and she was like, how the fuck do you know who Kelly Bundy is, bitch? Like, why were you in Serbia and nowhere watching this misogynistic piece of show that came from, what, 70s or 80s? Like, I think the question is, Maya, why did you know who Kelly Bundy was? I was so impressed by Nikki at that very moment. So many cool references, my this was it. Truly, there should be a deep dive analysis into El Bundy and that whole bloody fucking mess of a misogynistic piece of work. Anyways, some of these girls really did not want anything to do with the show after, and a lot of them I couldn't even find online. Like Meghan, for example, is not even listed in the cast of the show. However, Meghan is very Googleable still online, because no surprise, she is the one that managed to make somewhat of a career on the back of the exposure this show gave her. She is still to this day a lifestyle blogger. It's exactly kind of the life that you would picture, like pairing outfits, telling you what bag to wear with what fit. Like she has over, I think, 60k Instagram followers, has a Twitter account, has her own blog, has made somewhat of a career from this. If you really look at it, like the girls that you would find, the cool girls in school, but were actually as kind of on the mean side and a bit of a bully, like if you look at them now with, you know, your own mindset this many years after, I think you will all see that they're living the life that you would never want upon yourself. It's almost as if they're just mentally still stuck with the desires and the wishes that they have had at the age of 15. I don't know, I just had to say that, just if, 15-year-old Maya is listening while she's buying a burner phone. To just go below the belt for a guy that she didn't even truly want to date. I hope she is somewhere there in the back of my head still listening. Be like, hey, did you really want a life with a man who is somewhat famous and children with them? No, you really fucking wouldn't, would you? Anyways, that's Headline over. Annalisa, I found, has been on another reality show in 2016, $1 Million Matchmaker, and then her trail goes cold, which is a very ominous way to say that, Maya. Jesus fucking Christ. Karina, who I fully thought would be an influencer, I don't know, maybe she got married, maybe she changed her name. Or maybe neither of those things, because I actually found her LinkedIn as well, and it seemed like she had just continued her career, but at a different workplace. Then Chelsea and Kelly, it seems as if they disappeared off the face of the earth. Again, could have been they have changed names, or have a different last name now, because they might have been married. From the latest interviews that I could find, so like circa 2018, I think, Rose was a married full-time mom, and Kim was an actress in New York City after getting a master's degree in drama therapy. And she actually did her thesis on brainwashing on this show. 2 years since this ridiculous show aired, real-life Prince Harry started publicly dating American actress Meghan Markle. The couple tied a knot in 2018 and welcomed their son Archie soon after. Currently, they have entirely abandoned royal duties and relocated to LA, a plot that seemed not so far-fetched from reality TV. The audience, fooled by 2 production companies, was skeptical that Harry would marry an American actress. The scenario was almost too incredible to be real. Almost. And that is the story of I Want to Marry Harry, and I need an actual cleanse. Even though this wasn't a true crime story, the morbid ones that I usually cover. Okay, before I forget, right? If you enjoy these type of deep dives of me finding all of the information possible on a reality TV show, the second show that was on my list of prospective cases is called Playing It Straight. So, once I covered the Malaysian Airlines story, I want to know if you want me to cover Playing It Straight in this deep dive style. Let me tell you what Playing It Straight is about, just so you understand the criminalities, the criminals and the crimes. Playing it straight, okay? Let's find Wikipedia and see what it says. Alright. Crimes. It's an American reality television series broadcast by the Fox Broadcasting Company yet again. It premiered in 2004, so you know it's gonna be bad. It was filmed in Nevada, and it followed Jackie, a single, straight college student, as she searched for love among a group of 14 men. This group, however, consisted of a mix between straight and gay men. I think we all see the controversy. I think we all see why this show was cancelled after 1 season. Each week, Jackie went on individual dates with a man in order to determine if they were straight or gay. Each week, Jackie was required to eliminate 2 men who she believed to be gay from the competition. If the final contestant was a straight man, he and Jackie would split a $1 million reward. If the final contestant was a gay man, he would solely receive the $1 million reward. How was this produced? So, yeah, you guys let me know in the comments if you want me to watch this so that you don't have to. I do public service here all day, every day. Tad dramatic, Maya, tad dramatic. I'm gonna escort myself out of this video now, because this was silly Billy on its own. And I shall be seeing you in about 2 weeks' time with something very not silly, with something super fucking serious. For now, Maya out. Absolutely out of this one to edit this beauty. Okay, bye bye. Bye now, guys. Bye. Bye.